Okay. Am I live? Yes, I think I'm live. All right. I haven't done one of those in a while, so jump scare, me without makeup. Anyway, I'm doing another Get Ready With Me. We're gonna watch, because since this video is very long, I'm not gonna watch the whole thing today, but I will most definitely watch half of it. And yeah, I look like shit. Let's have some fun. Holy fuck. Let's do this. All right, Stephanie Sue, tell me a story.
Bada bing, bada boo.
It's a prefix menu. It's like one of those fancy Michelin star restaurants. You don't have to sit there and choose what you want to consume. They pick exactly what you need for that moment. The meal service starts at 6 a.m. on the dot every morning. Oats swimming in a tepid bowl of water, accompanied by 2 cuts of
Oh,
the house special bread. The lunch service is where things get a little bit more fun, a little
nice.
more experimental, if you will. This is what they're known for, an in-house, quote, special K-loaf. It's a dense mixture of, is it bread? Is it cereal? We don't really know. Dinner is typically chicken gravy. The consistency of the chicken gravy
Girl,
over rice has been described as an in-between of paste and clay.
are you talking
And
about
if none
prison
of those
food?
sound appetizing for you, you can always choose from their a la carte menu if they don't fit your taste. You could choose a Velveeta cheese block minus the noodles for $3.70, jalapeno squeeze cheese for $3.35, or if you're feeling extra ravenous, you could pick a rib steak meal for only $9.95. The prices you would imagine are quite fair. In fact, if you're visiting for a while, you could even purchase New Balance sneakers for $54.60, or perhaps hemorrhoid cream for $4.30.
Yeah, that's
The
prison.
meal service is, interestingly enough, fully booked every single service, every single day, no reservations required. In fact, attendance is almost mandatory. It
Duh.
currently has a 2.2 out of 5-star rating on Yelp, and that is the establishment, the Brooklyn Metropolitan Detention Center, otherwise known as MDC. Some inmates, they just call it hell on earth. This place houses 1,600 inmates. It is New York City's primary federal detention center. They did have a previous one that was just as big. It was called Manhattan's Metropolitan Correctional Center, but that one closed a little bit after Jeffrey Epstein died.
They shut the whole thing down.
They
Really?
shut it down, and now it's mainly the Brooklyn Metropolitan Detention Center.
They shut it down.
Is
That's
that related
crazy.
to the death?
Yes.
That's crazy.
And people have been complaining about both facilities for a really long time. People say it's, quote, pure hell, probably the worst federal detention center in the country. Ghislaine
Is
Maxwell's
it?
attorney claimed Ghislaine's time at MDC, she was underfed. There were pieces of plastic melted into her food. She had to drink contaminated water. She ended up losing her hair. But worse
Darn.
than that, the entire place is crawling with roaches and rodents. You could just smell the stench of overflowing toilets wherever you go. Another attorney stated, the worst part is there's no real outdoor space because it's in the middle of Brooklyn.
Yeah.
It's just a place to warehouse human beings.
Damn.
Another states, you're subject to a strip search at any given time. You're gonna take off all your clothes. The guards will come in. They're gonna check your mouth. They're gonna tell you to turn around, bend over, and spread your butt cheeks, cough. And then you gotta turn back around, lift your private areas, and squat down. I mean, this prison is disgusting. There's no way. It's a human rights violation. There's rats living through everything. The
Ew.
guest list for this human warehouse is actually quite long. You have Ghislaine Maxwell, Jeffrey Epstein's right-hand woman, R. Kelly, Keith Raniere, this is the NXIVM cult leader, Sam Bankman-Fried, billionaire crypto fraud, and now Sean
P.
Diddy Combs.
Diddy.
But it seems Diddy's been trying to get out. He's applied for bail twice, and now he's on his 3rd attempt. And there are serious concerns by netizens and conspiracy theories online that Diddy is going to, just like Jeffrey Epstein, mysteriously pass in prison because very, very powerful people around him will not want him talking.
Mm-hmm. Well, to be continued. Yo, that's a lot of foundation. I usually don't put as much foundation. Oh shit, I forgot. I'm gonna have to cut that. I always have to cut that damn thing. Oh fuck.
Billionaire crypto have been mysterious where Satan.
Uh, Every time I put that little fucking music, I get
Down. I mean,
copyrighted. Fuck, I should have not touched it.
there were pieces of plastic melted never to get out. He's applied for bail twice. Goes growing team, and we'd also like to thank you guys for your continued support as we work on our mission to be worthy advocates. As always, full show notes are available at rottenmangopodcast.com. Big disclaimer, this is a currently ongoing and developing case as we speak. There have been no court verdicts yet. So unfortunately, I must legally state that these are all the current accusations and allegations. People are innocent until proven guilty, legally speaking. Yeah. Also, with all of the other celebrities that are going to be listed in today's video, there has not been any statement from the authorities that any of them are even remotely being looked into, interrogated, interviewed as a person of interest or a suspect or an accomplice or even as a victim. So please keep that in mind. These are purely just internet discourse, netizen theories. Some statements have been shortened for time, and all the theories and speculations mentioned are netizen opinions that can be found publicly available online. All reporting for this episode is also taken from information that is readily available online, so please do your own research, form your own opinions. I'm not here to convince you of anyone's guilt nor innocence. Some potentially triggering themes involved heavy use of illicit substances, DV, workplace and gang violence, SA, and trafficking. In part 1, we did a deep dive on Diddy and Cassie's lawsuit, as well as covering the freak-off allegations and the supposed Illuminati connection. In part 2, we did a deep dive on Diddy's yacht parties and the mysterious death of his ex-girlfriend and the mother of his children, Kim Porter. Part 3, we talked about the 13 mysterious people who have died around Diddy, including the hip-hop legends Tupac and Biggie. This is part 4. This is going to be hopefully the last part until the trial. We're going to be going over the current ongoing allegations, the new lawsuits, and all the celebrities that have been listed on the so-called Diddy list. So with that being said,
a lot of those, that so-called list is just speculation.
The future is a gift. I mean, maybe you have a time machine, maybe you're gifted with clairvoyant abilities, or maybe you're just South Park, the cartoon. South Park has this near mystical reputation of predicting the future with unsettling accuracy. It's weird. Some people think maybe it's just logical thinking. Maybe they're just predicting things that are in the realm of possibility. Or maybe it's just a coincidence. It's not that deep. Others think South Park needs to be studied by the government. You decide. In the show South Park, there's an episode where Satan is planning his own sweet 16th birthday party at this hotel. And every little thing that he keeps suggesting, the party planners are like, oh yeah, Diddy had a party here last year and he already did that. A huge chocolate fondue fountain, Diddy did that last year. A donut machine, Diddy did do it. Full ice cream bar, Diddy did it. To which in the bit, Satan himself says, I don't want to do it if Diddy did it. Damn it, what didn't Diddy do?
Diddy did it. Damn it, what didn't Diddy do?
When was this episode? Do you know? Like, what year was it?
Oh, I think it was like in 2016.
Damn.
Naturally, netizens could not get enough of this. The top comments being, even Satan doesn't want to do what Diddy did. But others say, well, no, the meaning is a bit deeper than that. One comment reads, I like how it's implied that Diddy has done the same things that Satan himself has done or what Satan has thought about doing. LMAO.
Or even things that
Understandable.
Satan doesn't want to do.
Yeah. Others have pointed to a Simpsons episode that depicts what appears to be a white party hosted by Diddy. The episode is called The Great Fatsby, where Homer Simpson goes to this massive party thrown in a Gatsby-esque mansion. They're looking for the host, where some of the partygoers, including other A-list celebrities, say that he might not even exist, the host of the party. Others say, oh no, he's upstairs in his office. I mean, the whole massive staircase is lined with platinum plaques for songs. And when they walk into the party, someone who
Diddy do throw these parties.
Diddy is standing in the balcony, staring out at the party from the top. This character tells Homer and Mr. Burns that nobody crashes his party. He snaps his fingers, security detail with assault rifles, found in Diddy's home, and guns pop out, and eventually the situation is resolved. Because again, the character whom netizens believe to be a depiction of Diddy finds out that Homer's friend is this ruthless billionaire that everybody despises, but he loves him for being a ruthless monster, and he pulls him in for a hug.
Wow.
So people are saying these cartoons are predicting all of these things. All the parties, all of Diddy's crimes, did they predict it? Do you know how much an original copy of the Declaration of Independence is?
I didn't know that could be for sale.
Yeah.
There is one for sale. It's technically considered priceless, but technically, if you want to get really technical with
Don't tell me he
there
has
have
it.
been rare copy prints that sold for $8 million in
What the fuck?
auctions, like this one, owned by Norman Lear. Of the 200 copies of the Declaration of Independence, only 25 are still known to be in existence today, and Diddy is walking around a white party with a copy, an encased, closed, protected copy in his hands.
Of course he
It's
does.
a loan from Norman Lear. He said no one would ever expect a young black man to be coming to a party with the Declaration of Independence. But
I mean, he's
I
not wrong.
got it, and it's coming with me, and I promise not to spill any champagne on it. This is how crazy his white parties are. Diddy's white parties
they're
were
famous.
the it parties to be at. What kind of
Yeah,
other celebrity
everybody
party
wanted to
has
go
a
there.
copy of the Declaration of Independence? I can not even name a single one that I have never been invited to, but who knows? There would be these flaming torches outside the estate, burning all day, all night. Diddy says about the origins of the white parties. You know, I just had the craziest mix of guests. Some of my boys from Harlem, Leonardo DiCaprio after he had just finished the Titanic. I had socialites there and relatives from down south. There were 200 people sitting out there just having a down-home cookout. Diddy allegedly actually called himself the Great Gatsby, which I feel like at this point,
The Black
after Burning
Gatsby.
Sun, don't you know, Great Gatsby does not have a happy ending.
Yeah.
Maybe not the best way to predict your own future. According to one insider who states they went to his parties, she said Diddy hired these young women to stand on pedestals on either side of the entrance, just dressed like angels, just standing there. She said it was very Gatsby-esque, maybe crazier. There were synchronized swimmers on the outside. There were
Bruh.
topless women parading around in angel wings. But then there would also be group orgies, group sports taking place in the bathrooms with pills being passed around like little appetizers.
I'm not surprised by that.
People said when Diddy winked at you and said, come to the VIP section, you knew you were going to have a really good night.
Oh, what you though?
He's known to just be a party legend. Diddy was known for saying things like, you think I'm going to stay in the VIP section? I created the fucking VIP section. Fuck the VIP. I want to touch the people. I want to feel alive.
What does that mean?
He wants to go into the club where everybody's dancing. He doesn't want to stay around in the VIP section.
Yeah, okay.
He's a master marketer. In one MTV skit about his parties, one person says,
Diddy once threw a party on a jet flying around the world. Now, it started on a Tuesday and somehow ended on the previous Sunday. I don't know how he did that.
They're flying through time zones, right?
Yeah.
Is that what they're saying?
yeah.
Okay.
Other comments, it's hard to say which is more off the hook, a Diddy party or a Diddy after party or a Diddy after party, which is basically just a pre-party for the next Diddy party.
Bruh.
There is a picture of Diddy from an old Miami party where he's standing next to a table, and on that table there's this woman laying nude on the table, just covered in food. She's the centerpiece, if you will.
Yeah, I've seen.
He's eating a chocolate-covered
That's an actual
strawberry
job.
off of her, and people think it's just a little unsettling now.
Well,
Because, you know, it's all fun
in
and
hindsight,
games
of course.
until you are his private chef.
Yo,
Private chef's
I
name
remember
is
that
Cindy.
story.
Cindy starts working for Diddy in 2015 at his LA compound, which, you know, this TikToks that's like, I'm a personal chef to a billionaire. Here's a day in my life, right? It sounds all fun until you realize that she's working from 9 a.m. until midnight or sometimes even till 2 a.m. in a lawsuit filed way back in 2017. So not even with the recent lawsuits and allegations. This is in 2017. Cindy says she was working every Saturday and Sunday for Diddy and only getting paid $150 per day. Eventually, he enjoys her cooking so much, he bumps her up from 2 days to 6 days per week, but she's still working 9 in the morning till midnight, getting paid $150 per day.
Disgusting.
That's $10 an hour. The minimum wage now in the state of California is $16 an hour.
Nah,
albeit this is in
Diddy, you
2024,
cheap
but
ass
still.
fucking bastard.
Aside from the pay, Cindy says in more professional legal words through her attorney in the lawsuit that this was pretty freaking miserable. She was traumatized working for Diddy. The lawsuit she files alleges in very professional terms, but for ease to digest, I will paint the picture. Cindy would be cooking in the kitchen.
Van Dipsy, this is a get ready video, okay? You have to trust the process. I may look crazy right now, but it's all gonna make sense in 1 hour. And also, ew, why you say that P. Diddy is your puppy? That's disgusting. He's a sex offender.
Oftentimes in the night, when
Yes,
Diddy would tell
an
her to
hour.
come serve food to him and his guests in the various areas of his mansion, She would walk in with the food because that's her job, right? And sometimes it was just so clear that they had all gotten done participating in sexual activities. Or sometimes they would be in the midst engaging in group activities while she's just forced to serve food, set the table, if you will.
Yeah, I
Other
remember
times,
that
she
story.
would walk in to, quote, deliver the food. And when she would walk into Diddy's room, she alleges it's so clear that he just got done having intimate relations. He would just be fully butt naked. She's uncomfortable. You can tell that she's uncomfortable. He could tell that she was uncomfortable.
But he doesn't care. Also, why you need makeup? Because first of all, I love makeup. Second of all, I love makeup. Third of all, that's a hobby. Fourth, I love makeup. That's all.
But he would allegedly ask her along the lines of, are you attracted to all of this? Do you like my naked body? In another occasion, Cindy is in the
That's
kitchen
highly
preparing the
unprofessional.
meals when a male house guest, one of Diddy's friends, walks in. She looks up. He's butt naked. He had just engaged in sexual activity with another guest of Diddy's, and he's just standing there around naked, asking her to look at him. Look at him
No!
down there. And,
Oh my
quote,
God.
admire his genitals.
Is this person named?
No. Cindy is mortified. She immediately files a complaint with her supervisor, another employee of Diddy's. Cindy complained frequently because, first of all, she never signed up to be constantly exposed to sexual activity and talking about genitals. Her capacity as a professional chef, and she's not working on like a explicit set where she knows what she's getting into. This is just somebody's home. This is not what she's been expecting. It seems like the only benefit for working for Diddy is that he did this very interesting thing where he liked throwing away a bunch of stuff because he's a billionaire. Sometimes the stuff he's throwing away wouldn't even be broken or damaged. In fact, they're nice things, they're expensive things. The house staff knew that if Diddy didn't really want it, technically they were free to take it before it's trashed. So I guess there's like a special bucket where they go through the trash and they're like, why is he trashing this? Well, one day the housekeeper comes up to Cindy and is like, hey, these are a few things that Diddy is throwing away. Do you want something? She picks something, and within a few days, she's terminated for theft. Cindy believes, she alleges in her lawsuit, that she was set up. They were sick of her complaining about the sexual harassment and about her pay, which she rightfully complained about. They were sick of her complaining about all of that she rightfully complained about. So they effectively set her up so that they could terminate her.
Van Dipsy, she said that basically she's a fucking private chef, okay? She's a private chef. Her job is to just cook food, but Diddy will literally have her serve the food right after a fucking orgy. Or like, it's very inappropriate. What do you mean why she's walking in her room? Because he asked her. And that's also why she sued him. Like, I'm here to serve you steak. Why are you showing me ass? Like, what is this? And yes, you get hungry after sex, but there's still, a level of professionalism. Hello? It doesn't matter if she knocks on the door or not. If he says come in and he's dick naked in front of her, what is she supposed to do? He wants his food now. And again, highly unprofessional, highly inappropriate. And that theft thing, absolutely not valid. She was set up. And he better pay her. I hope he paid her.
In the lawsuit, she claims she was constantly subjected to unwarranted harassing conduct, verbal harassment, demeaning comments, slurs, visual harassment, and unwanted sexual advances. So no, it doesn't seem like the parties were just all a big ball for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
In a separate lawsuit filed by a John Doe, the allegations state that he was invited to one of the infamous white parties in the Hamptons.
Woo!
He actually includes a picture of himself with Diddy. His face is blurred out, but he was just 16 years old. He had a mutual connection to
He's not
Diddy.
supposed to
He
be
didn't feel like
there.
this is something you could turn down. I mean, this is his chance to
He's
break it into the
16.
industry. The lawsuit includes a supposed picture of Diddy and John Doe at the white party. Interestingly enough, the lawsuit alleges that Diddy took an interest into John Doe, which gets him very excited. They move to a quiet area where John Doe is going off telling him how he's such a big fan. I have these dreams of becoming a star as well, and like the way that you've just done it is so admirable. To which Diddy smiles and allegedly tells him, you have the potential, you have the look, you know?
That's still theft, but my philosophy is that stealing from billionaires is not theft. I'm not even joking. If these things are supposed to go to the trash and you know damn well that they're expensive and they're worth a lot, fuck you. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, I don't give a fuck if it's theft. You're rich and you don't even want it. I'm gonna take it. Duh.
It's stated, alleged, that Diddy told him that he has the ability to transform him or anybody else into a star. Which John Doe gets excited. I mean, it's a pleasant conversation. And again, the lawsuit alleges Diddy abruptly tells John Doe he needs to drop his pants. The lawsuit states, John Doe, caught completely off guard, confusingly asked Combs to repeat himself. Combs made himself clear. He instructed John Doe to drop his pants and expose his penis so that Combs could inspect it, explaining it was the rite of passage and the route to becoming a star, and also a way to prove himself. Quote, "Don't you want to break into the business?"
Bruh.
John Doe immediately felt uncomfortable, froze, and did not know what to do.
Bruh.
Combs remained calm and stood in front of him and stretched out his hand in a cupped position. Out of fear and anxiety and the imbalanced power dynamic between himself and Combs, John Doe then dropped his pants and exposed his penis as Combs previously instructed. Combs moved closer and grabbed John Doe's penis and genitals with his hand. He firmly cupped and held onto John Doe's private parts for an extended period of time. During this time, Combs moved his hand in such a fashion to manipulate John Doe's genitals, squeezing and feeling them. John Doe was only 16 years old. That's what the lawsuit states. In another separate lawsuit filed by another John Doe, the allegations in his lawsuit include that in 2006, he was working for this security firm called Mass Security, where he would work at nightclubs or events for private events as security. He got this last-minute job at Diddy's East Hampton mansion for this annual white party, and the lawsuit alleges that prior to the party commencing, Diddy pushed John Doe into a van and viciously sodomized him. And while John Doe kept pleading for help, Diddy allegedly responded, "You'll be all right. You'll be all right."
Jesus Christ.
These part of the 120
Yes.
lawsuits? So these are the individual stories.
Yes. So Tony Busby, the attorney from Houston, has been filing, well, he states that he has about 120 lawsuits that are going to be filed against Diddy. He filed 6 and then 7. And by the time that you're hearing this on YouTube, probably more. Yeah, so he's doing them in batches. And now there is this very interesting thing where 120 is a very large number. So a lot of people are wondering, out of those 120, there must be people who,
but I heard it was way more,
as valid, right? And I don't think it's ever right to question victim stories. And I will say that Tony Busby has stated that he has 100 people vetting potential clients, and also about 30 lawyers looking at the evidence and the stories of each case. So they're trying to fact check a lot of these clients. They're not just trying to take any case. They're not taking anyone who's calling them like, "Oh, that Diddy thing on the news, I'm part of it." So just to keep in mind, because I know a lot of people that are either on Diddy's side or tend to question victims are like, 120, there's no way.
I mean, it's
Which,
over
again,
like,
I'm
what,
not
30
stating that
years?
these lawsuits are true. I mean, these are civil lawsuits. There's no way for me to know. I wasn't there, right? And neither was Tony Busby, but I'm just stating he is very thoroughly fact-checking them from what I can see. Well, I don't know if fact-checking is the right word, legally speaking, trying to verify them as much as he can. One John Doe alleges that he was drugged and essayed the night that Diddy was awarded the Lifetime Achievement Award at the BET Awards.
Wasn't that like last year?
Shouted out Cassie after 4 years after their breakup. He said that he was essayed after that at an after party.
Bruh.
So many netizens, they're hoping with all these new lawsuits coming out that the most of the party goers, all the other celebrities that attended Diddy's parties did not see these things, that they only saw the fun aspects.
Of course,
Because
otherwise they
one
would never go
frequent
back every
partygoer
year.
says, once Diddy got high or drunk, he would turn violent and loud. He would take his anger out on people. An unnamed alleged victim told the Daily Mail, so take it as you will. She alleged that she was at a party with Diddy once. He allegedly had this little medicine bag of drugs that he carried around with him. She said, there was this one time when he came down from his room and I was shocked because he looked animalistic. I didn't even recognize him. His veins were popping and the way that his body was contorting in a way, it was frightening. It just scared me. Being around him was like being around Jekyll and Hyde. There was some woman in the pool, sometimes already naked. And I thought, oh, maybe they party too much. So she's kind of insinuating that they're passed out almost, maybe in the shallower end or like hanging onto the side of the pool, or like they're in the cabanas around the pool. And she says, but no, there were times when the girls wouldn't wake up at all and they would just leave them there lounging by the pool. She claims if she ever asked Diddy's staff about it, like, hey, guys, are you guys seeing this? Is she okay? They would just tell her, she's okay. She's just drunk and hungover. That's what she claims.
Okay.
They said that, they would just say this anytime a girl didn't move at one of Diddy's parties. And Tony Busby, the Houston-based attorney I was telling you about that's representing the 120 potential clients that are in the process of suing Diddy, he says, if you were attending one of these parties, if you will, and you attended before, or you knew what was going to happen, that is, you knew that a particular drug was being used in drinks that were causing people to be coerced and taken advantage of, and you were in the room, or you participated, or you watched it happen and didn't say anything, or you helped cover it up, in my view, you have a problem.
Obviously.
You can't hide skeletons in the closet forever. I would expect there are many people out there right now who are desperately searching their memories as they delete their texts and data.
So does that mean every celebrity in connection with Diddy helped cover it up? Not
I wouldn't
exactly.
say that.
There are a few camps of netizens. Some that believe, obviously, people who just went to a white party, you don't know what they know because these white parties, everybody was going to them.
Exactly.
There's just no way that every single person in Hollywood knew what Diddy was doing.
Exactly.
But then some people are saying, well, if they were close friends of Diddy and were constantly hanging out with Diddy, they probably knew something. They probably at least knew that he was
Heard a
violent towards
rumor.
women. There's no way that they didn't know anything. That's crazy. When all of his staff and even people that have only seen him a few times have come out to allege these stories, could it be that they don't know anything? That's a netizen opinion. Or there's a group of people that are like, let's not even point any fingers. We don't know what they know. But I will say, for as long as Diddy has been around, there have been people in the industry that have been waiting for this moment. People that don't love Brother Love. In fact, they hate
50
Sean
Cent.
Love Combs with a fire-burning passion. In 2005, a book was written titled Confessions of a Video Vixen by Kareen Steffens. Kareen is a well-known figure in the industry. She was well-known to appear in a lot of music videos. And it says that she first went to Diddy's parties in Miami. It was, quote, fucking intense. She claims that there were women walking around topless, champagne being passed out, drugs being passed around on the inside. She claims you choose your pill, take your champagne, and that's the vibe for the night. It was intense. Like, the drug usage is just so casual. In it, Kareen alleges that when she first met Diddy in 2001, this is around the time that he and J-Lo break up. She says, quote, in retrospect, I realized that I was given to him as a gift by another executive.
Wow.
She claims that she was with Ja Rule and Irv Gotti when Diddy told them, quote, send her to my house. She alleges in her memoir, and that was it. I got the order to go to his house, and that was the first time he and I spent time. She describes herself as being a, quote, party favor, or at least that's what she said it felt like to her. Now, there were no explosive allegations in her book. She claims about her sexual encounter with Diddy as being consensual, but they didn't have full intercourse. It's unclear how far they went, but it just wasn't sex. She writes in her book, after the experience, he said, you're one of the best. I said to him, same, when in actuality, he was average. Our sexual encounter was pretty straightforward, nothing out of the ordinary. Later, she goes with a friend to Diddy's massive party that he's hosting, and I guess Diddy didn't personally invite her. He didn't know she was coming. The minute Diddy sees her, she alleges, he pulls her to the side, allegedly asking her, we're cool, right? I mean, we're friends, right? She says, quote, I was confused by the line of questioning, but assured him we were in fact cool. He allegedly tells her, I'm saying though, you know I have kids and a mother and people who love me, and I can't afford for anything to get out. I don't want them to get upset. She claims, yeah, she's confused, but reassured him she has nothing but respect for him and his family. But that doesn't appear to be good enough because she states Diddy pulls her friend, the one that she came with, to the side. They're gone for about 45 minutes in the midst of this little party. And he gets back, grabs Corinne by the arm, starts dragging her out of there. And is like, what did you do to that man? What did you do to Diddy?
What?
She's so confused. He tells her that Diddy allegedly told him to be careful around Corinne. Do not let her into his home. She's like, why would he say that? Why can't I be in your house? Like, what do you mean? And he said, Diddy told me, quote, she'll have you on video with fingers in your booty.
What the fuck?
What? Corinne states that the
Why is
both
he
of them were
projecting?
so confused, shocked, and eventually they broke out into hysterical laughter on the front lawn of Diddy's Miami mansion because how ridiculous that comment is. What do you mean? What does that even mean? She does clarify that she was not one of Diddy's victims, but she also writes in the book, this is obviously condensed, but at Diddy's, I was received with open arms by him and his entire staff. Everyone in the home was devoted to Diddy and catered to all of his needs, and for the afternoon to all of mine. I began to understand the hype around Diddy, why he was a pop culture icon. He's got that star quality, that's something that draws people to him and makes them want to be in his space and take part in his world. I was no different. By the end of the afternoon of meeting him, I'd become easily enamored.
Okay, so
Enamored.
what
Okay,
was that
girl.
whole encounter about? So he saw her, showed up at that party. He freaked out, pulled the guy away to tell the guy to not trust this woman, and
Because
what's
she's gonna
the
put a finger in his
reasoning,
booty?
intention, like what's going on here?
Some netizens have deciphered, because the book is a little bit confusingly written, has deciphered this as evidence that he might have been into some activities that we're not privy to, which I don't think is that big of a deal as long as it's consensual with adults. Some people are pointing to the fact that
Okay, so
yes,
they're saying that they did certain activities that Diddy does not want anybody to know. The fact
Probably.
that she showed up again, now he's like, oh, who are you telling people about this?
Yes.
And he's freaking out about that.
and he's trying to discredit her and isolate her. Is the allegation. I mean, I don't even know if this conversation actually took place, right? But I'm just letting you know what's out there. She said that she would eventually snap out of it, but there were still a few people around Diddy that were not enamored by Diddy. He has some lifelong haters, one of them being Miss Wendy Williams.
Oh, yeah.
Before Wendy Williams was the Wendy Williams, controversial talk show host, she was just getting started as a radio personality. She was signed with Hot 97, one of the coveted spots at the time. One would argue that she was a yapper on this show. Others would say, you have not seen yapping until you saw her on Hot 97. It was crazier back then. I don't know if defamation laws were looser back then, but Wendy would go to work and just ready to start some shit. One of her targets back then was Diddy. It does not appear that she intentionally targeted him, but she did state that she had obtained a very interesting photograph that allegedly showed Diddy and another man in a compromising position, which, you know, maybe Diddy likes men. Okay, I will say,
At the time,
the
that's
conversation of Diddy
absolutely
liking
terrible.
men, I don't think it matters. I don't think it matters. I understand why some people might use it to confirm some of the allegations in the lawsuits, because some of the victims suing him are obviously men. So it's like confirmation. Other than that, I don't think his sexuality plays a role in this at all.
No.
And I do think that what she did today would be very controversial. If that picture is true, why would you out a public figure, or anyone for that matter?
Yeah. Today,
But
it's
it
not
gets
okay.
wilder.
But back then,
around the
whoop.
same time, she states that she has this infamous photo of Suge Knight from Death Row Records with Diddy's son Justin. Remember the whole East Coast can't even take care of their own? That hadn't been released yet. So she's like,
Oh.
I have it, and I could post it on my blog.
Oh, that
The
photo.
story is that Wendy was going to release all of it, and Diddy is pretty much sick of her at this point, is the allegation. According to outspoken Gene Deal, the former bodyguard to Diddy, he states that by this point, because of the success of Bad Boy Records, Diddy's label, quote, motherfuckers didn't breathe hard if Diddy didn't want them to. Diddy allegedly calls up the executives that own Hot 97 to either get Wendy off the air. One allegation states that he even says something along the lines of, if I'm in New York City and I hear that voice on the radio, you're never gonna have another artist song nothing from me.
Ooh.
Which Hot 97 would lose a lot of business if they can't air Diddy's record label songs. Within a few days, Wendy, one of the biggest hosts on the station, is suddenly in Philadelphia. She's not in New York City anymore as a host. She's a host on a radio show in Philadelphia.
They fired her or let her go?
It seems like it, if this is all true. A lot of netizens agree, yeah, threatening to release a photo like that of someone doing intimate things is pretty horrendous. Potentially outing someone is also horrendous. But some netizens would point out, given everything that's happening right now, nobody feels sympathy for Diddy. And on top of that, they question why someone at his level would have such a big reaction to a photo if it weren't real.
Exactly.
That's what they're saying. But I do want to add, Gene Deal, the bodyguard, says the photo is not what you think it is. His version of events is that they were all on vacation and these girls were taking photos nonstop. And on this trip, one of the guys decided it'd be hilarious to pull down Diddy's pants to expose all of his privates. So as he's like bending down to expose all of his privates and pull down his pants, Diddy's private parts, I guess, whip out and the picture gets taken so it looks like another man is about to perform something on him, but he says it just wasn't true.
That's
was like
kind of
a prank.
horrendous, though.
But he claims that's the picture that was allegedly sent to Wendy Williams with a whole story of how Diddy is into men. Regardless, Wendy Williams gets dropped in New York City. She's got to go to Philly. The long-standing animosity between the two is pretty strong. Wendy alleges that Diddy would send a bunch of girls to try and jump her outside her radio station.
Once upon a time, there was a music mogul who sent his all-girl group to beat my ass in front of the radio station.
She alleges that Diddy, quote, single-handedly tried to sabotage her career. She writes in her book, "The hell he put me through, I will never forget it."
Wow.
But I don't hate him. But later, during her talk show, she was one of the few that extensively talked about the power dynamic between Diddy and Cassie, saying things like, "My thing is, when you date a mogul, it's really difficult to avoid them. Even if you use your head, you never know when they're gonna pop up on the scene. Like, they could find out what hotel you're staying at. They could just pop in, pop out. They have too much power in this world."
Wait, I'm so sorry. What is she referring to, though?
Cassie and Diddy, so when they would constantly break up and get back together, and Diddy would publicly reach out to Cassie through social media to try and win her back during their on and off relationship.
I remember
A lot of
seeing
other
one of
people were
those things
debating
on
whether or
Twitter.
not that's romantic, but Wendy says, "I suggest don't use social media, though, to reach out. This was a grand overture from Diddy. I don't believe he really wants her back or wants her. I believe he probably treated her at some particular point like a possession. If you really care, then you would reach out privately, not publicly."
Exactly.
There were these comments here and there that indicated that they never really resolved things until 2017. Diddy makes an appearance on the Wendy Williams show. And people think it is so awkward. The whole thing feels tense. They're both trying to dance around each other. Not really, but like figuratively during the entire interview. I don't think netizens are reading into it. I was watching it, and I've been watching lots of Diddy interviews on Ellen DeGeneres' show, Conan O'Brien, Jimmy Kimmel. He does not seem relaxed or happy around Wendy Williams. He keeps having these moments where he's smiling, but his smile drops so quickly. It's like he keeps dropping his smiling mask.
But why did he go on there?
Nobody knows. One part that's been going very viral on social media is Wendy Williams is bringing up her son. She says, "And let me tell you something. As a mother of a now 16-year-old boy," Diddy interrupts her, "who I met backstage. He's a great young man."
I met backstage.
He did?
He's a great young man.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Wendy Williams looks so uncomfortable. She briefly thanks him, but looks like she loses her train of thought. She spaces out and stutters a bit. Diddy is just staring into the depths of her soul during this. Many netizens have since commented that it felt like Diddy was trying to tell her, like, that's a threat, play nice. I just met your son. Another netizen comments, "The way she hesitated, you just know that she wanted to say, 'You stay away from my son,' but realized that she was on air." It is a very unsettling moment. But there is someone who might hate Diddy more than Wendy Williams.
50.
And that is 50 Cent.
There you go.
If anybody is going to be a hater of Diddy, it is going to be 50 Cent. This man, talented in his own right, obviously, but like he could make a full-blown career out of hating Diddy. He has been saying for years now that he freaking hates Diddy. In 2006, he released a diss track called The Bomb, where he insinuates that Diddy had something to do with Biggie's murder. The lyrics read, "Who shot Biggie Smalls? We don't get him. They're gonna kill us all. Man, Puffy know who hit that guy." He's always said Diddy was someone who was just a businessman that liked to take advantage of creatives. 50 Cent said, "I don't have any interest in doing things like that. I actually fall under the creative side, so I just didn't take to hanging out with him like that." He said that he thought Diddy was strange. In an interview once, he said, "He has to take me shopping." I thought that was the weirdest shit in the world, because that might be something that a man says to a woman, and I'm just like, nah, I'm not with this weird energy or
I mean,
weird
50
shit
is very
coming off the way he
homophobic,
was
so.
moving. Like, from that, I wasn't comfortable around him.
No, but me and you, we ain't party. Like, we need to party. What is you talking about? That's the
Incense
kind of
going off.
stuff that when people say that to me, I get a little uncomfortable.
In response, Diddy went to the Breakfast Club podcast, and he was asked,
And he said you did the same thing to him. You asked him to take him shopping.
Yeah, I thought he needed some clothes.
in another concert, 50 Cent said, "That's why I don't go to no puffy parties."
They can hug you from the front and the back at the same time. Look, if you into that, I'm fine with it. To each his own. I'm just saying this shit, my motherfucking counterpart.
In another segment, he says, "I've been talking to a therapist to try and help me with the shit I've been saying, you know? Some crazy shit on my mind. Maybe I said some shit about Puffy because he got Tupac killed." So he's always leaving these little weird hints of things. I mean, the two of them,
like, not even leaving hints. He's straight
Like, he's straight up
calling him
saying it.
murdered,
Like, that's
right?
not a hint.
twice for Tupac and Biggie.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
Now, the two of them, they started off more so as industry competitors. They had competing alcohol brands, but somehow it escalated into them just dissing each other publicly. 50 Cent allegedly called him a bloodsucker, saying things like, I guess that means I'm not invited to the white parties in the Hamptons. And to describe Puffy in one word, it would be bitch.
He said that.
Yes.
50 said that.
Yes.
Okay.
He also stated that Diddy is not an artist. He just takes records and sings them. He's not really an artist. Quote, he's the guy that stands next to the guy. He's the guy standing next to Biggie. He's a party promoter. He's a producer. He's a businessman, a lot of other things, but he's not an artist. To which Diddy cryptically responds,
I mean, he does have
love
a
my
few
people. Let's
bucks.
stop the hate, man. Congratulate. Hate is for suckers. If you hating, you're a sucker. And you're ashy. And your breath is stinky. And you know who I'm talking about, you hating ass crap.
Not ashy.
Interestingly enough, 50 Cent's mother of his child gets listed in a lawsuit by Lil Rod.
Oh.
Wait, 50 cents.
The mother of his child gets listed in passing in a lawsuit, not as a defendant, but it is alleged that she was having intimate relations with people at Diddy's house. Which, side note, later on The Breakfast Show, later in 2018, the podcast host brings up 50 Cent and Diddy. Diddy says, I don't have no beef with 50.
Hey, yo, I don't have no beef with
I don't know why.
With Fifth. He loves me. I mean, y'all can't see
No,
it.
we can't see
Y'all
it,
can't see
man.
that he loves me.
Yo, but see,
You really, hold on, you really think that's hate? You know he loves me.
I don't think he like you.
You know he loves me.
I don't think he like you.
Okay.
That's Diddy's response. Okay. He continues, when he does that, it's like funny to me. I don't really take it personally. I know he has a different sense of humor and he's just not in my life. We don't have to ever cross paths, and I will never say nothing negative about him, because that's just not me. But no, Diddy, he really, really does not like you. Anytime there would be any negative news about Diddy, 50 Cent would turn his Instagram page into a multifaceted hate page towards Diddy for years now. Even when Keefe D was arrested for killing Tupac and Diddy was named by him, 50 Cent posted, damn, so Tupac got lined by Brother Love? LOL, time to lawyer up. Shit might get sticky.
Telling who? Diddy to lawyer it up?
Yes. And now we have come full circle with Christian Combs, Diddy's son. After Diddy's homes were raided by the feds, he released that diss track. And he was actually listed in a lawsuit. He's been accused of essay, but he released that diss track called Pick a Side, in which he takes a shot at 50 Cent, saying all that gossip shit is whack when all they had was 50 Cent, who put the city on the map. Stop lying. So he's basically saying 50 Cent is acting like he put the city on the map. Don't lie to yourself. 50 Cent then posted and deleted on Instagram, I feel so threatened by the things Christian is saying on his record. I'm afraid for my life. Please don't hurt me, guys. He's being sarcastic.
Obviously.
He has since taken it down, but he is currently working on a series about Diddy with Netflix.
Oh, that's right.
Yes.
Is there any more information on that? Is it just
He did joke that he was going to title it Did He Do It?
that's all we know?
Yeah.
Okay.
Videos have been going viral of celebrities trying to warn us about Diddy, like all these clips of 50 Cent saying all these things. There's no way to know for certain if these celebrities knew what was going on or were trying to warn the public or if it's all just a coincidence, but let's go through some of these warnings. Again, these could have been coincidental comments, jokes, or maybe they don't even realize what was going behind closed doors. But because this episode is more so internet discourse, we have to go through them. Brandon T. Jackson, a comedian and actor, made a claim earlier this year before Diddy's arrest, but perhaps someone was trying to warn him. I don't know. He said Denzel Washington gave him some sage Hollywood advice. You leave 30 minutes before the devil get there. For all the parties in Hollywood. Which, to be fair, he could have been referring to anyone, or perhaps metaphorically to the devil.
Yeah.
But Brandon said he always noticed Denzel Washington left before the devil gets there. Anytime he sees Denzel Washington leave a party, it would be a signal to him to leave the party.
Oh.
Did he mention Diddy at all in this conversation?
The conversation seems to have Diddy implied throughout the other parts of the episode.
Oh.
And there's actually an interesting story from years ago. In 2003, Denzel Washington confronted Diddy at one of his parties. Sources allege that they got into a heated discussion about something, and allegedly Denzel stormed out while shouting, "You don't respect anybody." Which nobody knows if this actually happened or why, but it's a very interesting thought. We're going to come back to Denzel Washington in a little bit because there is a very vocal alleged victim of Diddy's parties. Well, I guess I could just summarize it here. Allison Carter, she has stated, she's kind of insinuated that Denzel Washington is also involved, but I don't know There's a lot. There's a lot there. But just keep that in mind.
Victor, no, I don't have a hot date. I'm streaming video games later, but I have this series where I just react to Stephanie Sue's videos, and that's one of them. And also, we're talking about Diddy, so things are juicy, and I do my makeup at the same time. That's why I look like a bit of a clown right now, but don't worry. Trust the process. It's gonna make sense later on. Also, hi.
Earlier in 2024, before Diddy's arrest, Cat Williams went on a talk show to say
I know. I
all
heard
these
about that.
big dick deviants is all catching hell in 2024. It's up for all of them. It don't matter if you Diddy or whoever you is, all lies will be exposed. The truth is the light.
It don't matter if you Diddy or whoever you is, all lies will be exposed. That's all.
Cat Williams claimed he was blackballed from the industry because he's been in the game for so long and he has been gathering information, intel. He knows everybody's secrets and they all know that he knows. He claims,
now I've had to turn down $50 million 4 times just to protect my integrity and that virgin hole I was telling you about. Right.
Because P. Diddy be wanting to party and you gotta tell him no.
Oh, that's where this line came from.
Yes.
Ah.
Some would even argue that Diddy warned us. For a Vibe cover called Puff Daddy, It'll Never Be Over, Diddy ominously tells the reporter about this vision he has in his mind. And this vision is just always in his brain. He says it's like a picture out of one of those old movies where a man has been wrongly accused and the whole town is gathered to watch him get hanged. This man is up on a platform with his legs dangling in midair, only instead of choking, he refuses to die. Days go by and he's still hanging in. The townspeople are throwing rocks at him, but he won't give in. Finally, they cut him down. That guy is Sean Puffy Combs himself. They cut him down and he just walks away. He starts yelling, I raise out of the coffin. It will never, 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 never be over. Never, motherfuckers, never.
Okay.
What's the context behind that?
Oh, I think he's just talking about how people are trying to take him down.
Right.
And when was this? Was this years ago?
A long time ago, when he was still going by Puffy.
I see.
In one interview with Ellen, Diddy is sitting there and they're both discussing the incident where Chris Brown beat Rihanna and was charged with felony assault, guys, where Ellen says, I don't want any girl watching this, which, by the way, I do want to clarify, Ellen DeGeneres has, she's got her own issues, so this is not me being like, oh, Ellen DeGeneres said this. No, okay, she says, I don't want any girl watching this to think it's okay to go back to a guy who hit her. Diddy responds, and he seems angry. I don't think it's right for anybody to hit anybody at the end of the day. I don't think it's right. I think we all have to be honest with ourselves as adults, though. And people that have been in relationships, and we know that sometimes these relationships get ugly. And sometimes it doesn't come out into the forefront, like this one has come out. There's a lot of stones being thrown, and we don't know exactly what's going on. These are two young individuals, and we need to pray for them. We need to give them certain support.
It was a dark time for them, and I was there more as a support. That was it.
Wow. Knowing what happened closed doors,
yeah.
Then listen to this, you know exactly what he's trying to say.
Yeah. When any news comes out about violence against women and to see certain men respond in this way, it's always very alarming. I always take notice of it. Because it's just, that's not a normal response.
I mean, it's
bizarre. Immediately afterwards, it's tense and he's staring like he's about to, I don't know, but then he gets up and tries to lighten the mood or do damage control or hide his seething anger, I don't know, by asking, can we dance? It is incredibly bizarre.
So even Ellen was like, I don't know what to say now.
Yes, because I don't think she was expecting that. I think she was expecting him to be like, yeah, I don't think girls should go back to people who hit them, because that is a very standard general response. But he's very close friends with Chris Brown. In fact, he even states that he was the one trying to get Rihanna and Chris Brown to stay in his house together after the assault to work things out. Imagine trying to force a victim to be in the same place as her assaulter.
That's freaking crazy.
What is there to work out? You're a felon. Okay,
he said that on TV, or?
Yes, he told Ellen about it.
Oh, whoa.
One netizen comment reads, it's crazy that we're discussing violence against women and Diddy wants to dance right after. It's disturbing. He truly is a twisted individual. Another writes, the psychopathic look he gave at the very end before he asked to dance is very telling. Others just comment, spoken like a true abuser. There is a resurfaced video where Diddy is playing a game where he's given a card. He has to fill in the blank, and the statement on there, the card reads, "When I die, I want my last words to be." Diddy thinks about it, and he responds,
I did it.
he means, I did it. You know, I
Yeah,
made it. I made it, right? But obviously, social media thought
That-
it was crazy, a little ominous, and they're having a field day with this one, writing, well, there's a confession right there. You didn't age well. You sure did, and that's why you're in jail, buddy. To which Diddy's representatives have stated, it's disappointing to see the media and social commentators twist moments into something they were not by taking video clips and photos out of context and attempting to link them to a false narrative. And implying inappropriate behavior is completely ridiculous.
I do think that a lot of people are going way too far with the allegation, in a way where like they're literally almost inventing stuff. Like at the end of the day, you're not in his head. You don't actually know what anybody is thinking. You're not a psychic or whatever. That being said, I do understand why people do that, because in hindsight, this man is sick. He's a sick, twisted individual. But it's just, you know, people like to be like, oh my god, I knew it or whatever. It's just always annoying. No, you didn't, bitch. Relax. It's okay. Most people didn't. We are part of the peasants. We were not at the white party. All you have is assumption. But I don't want to hear anything about fucking body language expert. That's all. I hate them. They're annoying.
In another interview with Conan O'Brien starts off by saying,
"Hi, Prince.
You're legendary for the parties you throw. You throw a great party. I'm a legend, baby, for a whole bunch of things." And he starts barking at the crowd. A killer party. What's the ingredient for a killer party?
Women. Beautiful women, of course. Beautiful men for the ladies, of course.
Conan says, wouldn't it be better if there weren't beautiful men there, though? If there were just a lot of beautiful women and then just the guy? No. There's enough ladies to go around. You have to make the ladies, give the ladies what they need, too, you know? Take care of your woman. Take care of the ladies, okay? Gotcha, that's good. Can't force the situation. You can't force a square peg into a round hole.
What?
Conan says, that's the story of my life. What about celebrities? You have a lot of celebrities there? Listen, I'm giving you the menu, okay? Let's just take things slow, okay? And you need the ladies, you need the booze. You need some water. For watering the plants.
A lot of ladies drink water at parties. They just, you know, so you have, if you don't have what they need, they're gonna leave. Gotta keep them there. You need locks on the doors.
He said lock the doors?
Yes.
Wait,
this
what?
is being pulled up in hindsight because there's a video of Diddy and Young Miami, his then on and off girlfriend of the City Girls, right? There is a video where he takes Young Miami into a room inside the house and there's like a deadbolt from inside. It's very weird.
What's a deadbolt?
On an
He's
interior
serious.
door.
Like,
Yeah, so it's just people are like, we don't know what the purpose of that deadbolt is, but it's definitely weird.
right.
It's definitely not.
What is a
normal thing.
deadbolt?
It's
I
not
think
even like a safe code so that
even-
certain people,
Yeah, even say that as a joke
is weird
is freaking weird.
and scary. Yeah. And Conan O'Brien says, okay, this is sounding kind of dangerous now. It's a little kinky, but you know, rock with me. Just check it out. You need a lot of heat. Heat? You mean
Diddy be
physically? The place
talking,
has to
bruh.
be hot? Yeah, you don't need air conditioning. Why is that? Heat affects the alcohol, and it also affects, like, you know, everybody gets a little more comfortable and loose, builds up a nice little sweat.
What?
That just sounds disgusting. Depends on the way you look at it. So you're saying it starts getting sexy, is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Sexy. New
That's what
word
he's
for
saying.
you. Let me finish. You just need music, and then you need me, of course. Comments on the video now read, self-snitching, a national pastime. In a separate interview with Conan O'Brien, Conan randomly brings up, let me ask you something. I don't know if it's just a made-up myth or if this is true, that anytime you go into a hotel, you don't check in the way everybody else does. You send someone ahead to prepare the hotel room for you.
It's called preparing the sexy.
Which, if you guys know, in the lawsuits with the freak-offs, it said that he would send his assistants to get ready all the freak-off supplies, allegedly.
That's candles. I like candles.
Which in Cassie's lawsuit, it's alleged that he would fix the candle lighting, like he's producing his own video while he's filming these acts. He says, I like tuberose, that's a scent that I'm attracted to. You know, I like lilies, I like white orchids, I like roses, things of that nature. You know, I'm into baths. You know, I like my bath at the right temperature. So, you know, it's just little things that I personally like.
You have to make sure you go through the proper measures to make sure that you're sexy is there when you arrive.
People think that he's talking about freak-offs.
Probably.
People are having a field day with these old clips, digging up old clips. There's another one where Diddy talks about his legendary parties, and he says, they won't give me a permit to the parties, man. They don't want me to throw the parties no more. But we ain't gonna stop. We're gonna keep having fun. You're gonna keep hearing about my parties. They're going to be shutting them down, probably be arresting me. Doing all types of crazy things just because we want to have a good time.
You're going to hear about my parties. They're going to be shutting them down. They're going to probably be arresting me, doing all types of crazy things just because we want to have a good time.
When I first started researching the Diddy case, there were 12 lawsuits that were filed against Diddy and the federal indictment that was unsealed. Very quickly, another dozen lawsuits were filed, and probably more by the time that you're watching this. But we are just going to go through some of the new revelations, new allegations from the newly filed lawsuits. There have been longstanding allegations that he would put date drugs into the alcoholic beverages at his party. There have been lots of people that have been coming online to allege he had a section for drinks that only girls would drink, and then a section for the artists, for the label makers, for the people that are not allegedly going to be drugged. So he had drug drinks and non-laced drinks. That is the allegation. One lawsuit even further alleges that it would be in the champagne glasses that they would hand out at parties. Specific mixed drinks like lemon drops would be laced with drugs, because primarily these are drinks that more women tend to gravitate towards. Or maybe specifically other people would be told, allegedly, hey, don't drink the lemon drops at this party. One lawsuit alleges it's not even just about the drinks that are circulating at the party. Multiple lawsuits have alleged that when you walk into his party, you would have to sign an NDA. Now, this part is not... It's not gray area for sure.
Yeah,
okay, but
a lot of celebrities do that.
And once you walk in, they would make you take a shot. They're like, you sign the NDA, and this shot is a prerequisite to coming into the party. And some believe that those shots specifically, some were laced, some were not. So it's like maybe it's a pre-approved, these are the types of people I want to be drugged, allegedly. I wouldn't know how it works in the back end, but I'm just saying it is very weird because it's not Diddy himself that we're giving these shots out. Others allege that even the baby oil was laced, and that's why there were 1,000 bottles of the baby oil in his house, because it just doesn't make sense to have 1,000 bottles of baby oil. Yes, Americans buy in bulk, but 1,000 bottles of baby oil just... that doesn't even make any sense. And then you have Gene Deal, the former bodyguard, saying that's weird. You have other people like the Jonathan Odie. I don't know how credible he is, the man that was arrested at a Trump hotel shooting back then. He said that they were transporting liquid cocaine. He's definitely more of a conspiracy theorist.
Yeah.
But still, there have
He
been
seems a bit
long-standing
cuckoo.
allegations. One lawsuit reads, quote, dousing victims in lotions or similar body oils also laced with GHB so that the drug would be absorbed through the victim's skin and make it easier to take advantage of, exploit, and assault him or her.
What's GHB?
The date rape drug.
Oh.
One lawsuit alleges that he would also say things like, this is what it takes for you to be famous. What are you willing to be a star for? Perform insert act or else. Other lawsuits claim he would say things like, when else do you get to drink with a millionaire? One of the more shocking lawsuits filed as of recently is Jane Doe, who alleges that she was 13 years old when she was assaulted by Diddy. These are the allegations set forth in her lawsuit. And again, allegations until they're proven true in the court of law. The lawsuit alleges that during the 2000 VMA Awards, this is the year that Diddy and his then girlfriend at the time, Jennifer Lopez, went wearing that iconic green Versace dress. The plaintiff, Jane Doe, claims her friend dropped her off at the Radio City Music Hall so that she could try to get into the VMAs. So she's just a fan. She's just a fan of the VMAs. She wants to go. She claims that she was outside when she saw a ton of artists and famous people arriving. She didn't have a ticket, but she really wanted to get in. So she went and tried to talk to the limo drivers that were outside. One of the alleged drivers worked for Diddy. This is the allegation. And he allegedly told her, hey, Diddy likes younger girls, and quote, you fit what he's looking for.
Oh my
He
God.
allegedly invites her to an after party. So not the VMAs, I can't get you in there, but you can get into the after party. She claims once she got inside this large white house where the after party was being hosted, she was asked by two men to sign an NDA. They allegedly told her that she was not allowed to talk about what happened at this party. She gave them her name, signed a form, did not receive a copy. Jane Doe claims she saw a lot of celebrities at the party in which she was offered later a reddish yellow drink, which tasted kind of like orange juice, cranberry juice, but something bitter in there. And after one drink, she allegedly starts feeling very woozy, lightheaded. She wants to lay down. She alleges she tries to look for an empty room to lie down, but sooner or later, she claims Diddy, along with a male celebrity and another female celebrity, entered the room. Diddy allegedly approached Jane Doe with this crazed look in his eyes, grabbed her, and started screaming, "Are you ready to party?" She alleges that she was essayed by Diddy while the other male celebrity and the female celebrity watched. Then the male celebrity essayed her while Diddy and the female celebrity watched.
Were they all named or no?
No. Male celebrity A, female celebrity B. Okay, let's be fair. Money does make the world go round at times, and sometimes victims don't have access to things like therapy because they don't have the resources for that. So in these lawsuits, I don't like to bring up the topic of money because then it becomes this whole, oh, victims want money, victims want money. I mean, what else could Diddy give them other than an apology? That would hurt him, right? He can't, there's no eye for an eye in this country. Like, it doesn't make sense. So it's stated that potentially it's a technique where you don't list the celebrity, but you file this lawsuit and you go to that celebrity privately and say, I haven't listed you yet, but if you don't want to settle privately, I could list you. Like, I could name you.
Yeah,
and I could file a lawsuit against you as well. So I guess we'll have to wait and see. Now, in one lawsuit, John Doe alleges he attended a party around October 2021. So this is very recent. He states there were several well-known artists in attendance, and he claims that he was drugged and gang essayed. In a separate lawsuit, another Jane Doe alleges that after Diddy essayed her, he threatened her. You better not tell anyone about this or you will disappear. A few establishments were also listed in a few of the new lawsuits, Macy's, the department store, being one of them. In one lawsuit, John Doe alleges that in 2008, he was working for one of the more popular streetwear clothing brands called Echo Clothing. This is around the time when Diddy was trying to take Sean John to the next level. They were Sean John's competitors. One day, the lawsuit alleges Diddy comes into Macy's flagship store in Manhattan with 3 of his bodyguards. He allegedly stomps his way over to the stockroom, pistol whips the defendant, and forces him to perform orally while shouting, "I will kill you" at him. Allegedly, while essaying him, Diddy is accused of pulling his hair while making derogatory comments like, "You like that, white boy?" The lawsuit continues that after the assault, Combs proceeded to gather Sean John merchandise from the stockroom, leaves the stockroom, and headed out to the Macy's retail floor, where he began passing out merchandise to an adoring crowd as if nothing happened. The lawsuit further alleges that John Doe went to Macy's security to report the assault. He was allegedly told by somebody that someone will come speak with you about what happened, but it never happened. Nobody came to speak with him, and he alleges, quote, shortly thereafter, Macy's stopped letting John Doe into the flagship Herald Square store. He further alleges that the CEO of Macy's pressured Echo executives to fire John Doe because Macy's had just signed a multi-million-dollar deal with Sean John Clothing.
This is crazy.
Marriott International has also been named in one of the lawsuits as a defendant. The lawsuit states that Marriott management was well aware of Diddy's activities, and management and other personnel, quote, looked the other way, essentially alleging that Diddy was able to commit sexual violence through use of Marriott's premises, hotel staff, and employees who were all allegedly profiting from such activities committed by Diddy. One lawsuit reads, Combs manipulated both men and women to participate in highly orchestrated performances of sexual activity with both commercial workers and unsuspecting partygoers. In some cases, these were individuals who were contractors or vendors. In other cases, they were random individuals pulled from a hotel lobby or show or off the street. And in one of the more recent alleged cases of abuse, according to a lawsuit, John Doe claims to be a businessman from LA. He attended a launch party for a new Ciroc product. According to the allegations listed, John Doe claims that he was invited since he already had this established working relationship with Diddy. John Doe works in LA, specializing in renting out luxury cars and jewelry. So he's invited personally by Diddy, is the allegation, which he thought this is a great way to network and market his business to other high-profile clientele. So of course he goes. Now, according to the allegations, Diddy asks John to come into his private office, which isn't crazy, because John's thinking, okay, we're going to talk some business. But instead, he claims Diddy was drunk, acting strange, and was moving closer and closer to John while taking off his pants. He alleges he walks up to John and allegedly grabs John's genitals through his pants, quote, squeezing them in a rough and sexual manner. The lawsuit further alleges the situation escalated until another individual, professional athlete A, unnamed, professional athlete A, entered the office and intervened, which ended the Combs assault on plaintiff of John Doe. There's another lawsuit filed by a John Doe, a personal trainer who claims he was assaulted by Diddy as well in 2022. The lawsuit alleges that John was invited to a party held by Diddy because he was impressed by his personal training and might want to feature him in a video. The personal trainer was allegedly greeted at the door where he signed an NDA, and upon entering, he claimed that he was given this alcoholic beverage that he had to drink as, quote, another condition to gain entry into the party. Once inside, the allegations further continue. John saw a ton of other celebrities there, which was overwhelming. He started feeling dizzy or disoriented, weak, which was weird because he only had one alcoholic beverage. He felt drugged. The lawsuit alleges that he was guided into one of these smaller rooms where, quote, he observed approximately a dozen individuals, including several well-known figures who were engaging in group activities. The lawsuit reads, at this moment of realizing his significant impairment, Combs approached plaintiff, John, and removed his pants and began performing non-consensual oral sex onto him. Combs then directed John to perform oral sex on another individual in the room known as Celebrity A. Due to the haze of the drug he had been clandestinely served, John Doe could not resist Combs' coercion and ordering. He felt trapped inside of his body, unable to control it and understand what was happening around him. As a result, John Doe was forced to perform non-consensual oral sex onto Celebrity A. After Celebrity A finished, this individual spit into plaintiff's mouth. The lawsuit further alleges, while in and out of consciousness, individuals at the party forced plaintiff into sexual acts with both men and women, and, quote, these individuals, including Combs, essentially passed plaintiff's drugged body around like a party favor for their sexual enjoyment. When plaintiff finally regained consciousness, he found himself outside of his apartment, disoriented, without a shirt and without his phone. Plaintiff is unaware who took him back to the apartment or how he got there. He alleges that this happened on the night of the BET Awards.
Oh my God.
Was that
oh
one
my
that was
God.
mentioned earlier?
That's very
this
recent.
is the further.
The same.
Yes, but
same
more
person?
detail. Yes.
Same person, okay.
In another allegation filed in a lawsuit, Jane Doe claims she was invited to a party in December of 2022. She claims she noticed all of Diddy's employees at the house party pushing drugs onto the guests, the staff. She alleges she only drank a single glass of wine, where the allegation is she felt trapped inside of her body, and then Diddy allegedly essayed her. The lawsuit reads, plaintiff discovered blood on her legs from her vaginal area and bruising on her hip. She also found deep imprints on her arms and wrists, suggesting that she had been tied with ropes. Additionally, she felt significant pain and soreness in her vaginal region. Do you know who Aaron Hall is? He's a huge R&B singer from back in the day. He was listed as one of the defendants in one of the lawsuits.
Alan Wake,
Liza Gardner
again.
alleges in her lawsuit that Diddy and Aaron Hall had taken her and her friend back to Aaron Hall's apartment for a party. This was way back then. And Liza remembers being offered more drinks and coerced into having intimate relations with Diddy. She alleges that after Diddy was done, she just laid in the bed, shocked and traumatized. As soon as she's trying to get dressed, Aaron Hall allegedly barges into the room, pins her down, and forces her to have intimate relations with him. When he finally leaves her alone, she claims she quickly got dressed, ran out of there, and her friend was also allegedly essayed by the two. She said that they swapped rooms. So while Diddy was allegedly essaying Liza, Aaron Hall was with her friend, and then they, quote, swapped, and they switched. Liza thought perhaps the nightmare was over, but a few days later, she states that her door to the apartment slams open, Diddy runs in, and allegedly starts choking her.
What the fuck?
She passes out. She said that he was scared that the girls were going to tell his girlfriend at the time what happened. Not the police, but the girlfriend.
Which was?
I believe not someone famous at the time.
Okay.
Aaron Hall, the R&B singer, he hasn't responded to the allegations, but an old interview of his has been popping back up. It's pretty bad. Some netizens feel as if he has admitted right then and there, but it's up for you to decide. A lot of people remember him being one of the smoothest, more romantic R&B singers back in the day, but turns out he likes to brag about being a pimp.
Oh,
Quote,
wow.
pimp,
Okay.
because his grandfather was a pimp. He also states in an interview, girls with the, quote, fresh out the pussy shit think they can get a man like Aaron Hall. I'm historical dick. They f with me, it's a big dick. Everybody know my son's mother.
What?
Furthermore, he states that the mother of his son is a puppy because he impregnated her when she was 16 years old.
Okay.
He referred to her as a puppy because she was a minor, and he was in his 30s at the time. He states, I didn't know she was a puppy. Sometimes when I see a puppy on the field when I'm dog training, I think it's a year or two old, and it'd be like 8 months, so I don't know. So when I saw her, everybody was trying to get at her, so I took her.
I didn't know she was a puppy, you know what I mean? That's right. She was tall, she was big, blonde hair, bone with the black pant leather. I was like, I'm getting that.
The whole interview is a bizarre telling on himself rant. He continues, if you can't handle my dick, you ain't getting my last name. So I've been single for 50 years. If a bitch touch my dick and say my dick is small, then she's a lying bitch. He goes on to rant about how everyone he knows how he fucks. That's his words, quote, fucks. And how large his, quote, dick is. Even Puffy and Jodeci have seen him fuck. They know.
Okay.
That's his claim.
Like, if you speak to Jodeci or Puffy or any of them niggas, they been at my house. They all see me. They all know I'm a big nigga.
Yeah.
He was 50 years old?
At this interview?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I think he's like 60 now. And he's like screaming these things. It's very scary. He admits in the podcast, I can say to you that I've smacked a lot of bitches and gone off on a lot of bitches, but it's because I've never been raised or had my mother cook me any meals. So he's saying it's his mom's fault that he beats women? He says when you're with a girl, you don't go nowhere unless we say go somewhere. I just personally feel like he should not be allowed alone with any woman or child or really any other sane human being within like a 1 mile radius of him. He also states if he goes into a studio and a guy is arguing with a girl, then he goes off on that girl without even knowing what's going on because he doesn't want his friend to be perceived as weak.
That's
wow.
That is like the most weakest, insecure video I've ever seen in my entire life. I mean, it's not necessarily an admission of guilt per se, but a lot of netizens have read in between the lines, or rather the lack thereof, and the comments read, let them talk long enough and they will tell on themselves. Just hearing him speak, I believe every word that woman has said. Diddy's attorneys have responded. No matter how many lawsuits are filed, it won't change the fact that Mr. Combs has never sexually assaulted or trafficked anyone. We live in a world where anyone can file a lawsuit for any reason and without any proof. Which, side note, I mean, yeah, but technically, what about the indictment? Fortunately, a fair and impartial judicial process exists to find the truth, and Mr. Combs is confident he will prevail against these and other baseless claims in court. Tony Busby claims there are plans in the works to sue several other celebrities who allegedly helped Diddy cover up the essay at his parties. In fact, Tony hints at the fact that a few A-list celebrities have already settled with victims in private. He says, because it's in the best interest of the victims, we attempt to resolve these matters without the filing of a public lawsuit. And we have done that already. We've done that with a handful of individuals, many of which you've heard of before, and we will continue to do that.
Who is this Tony Busby?
He's a lawyer.
He's a fascinating attorney. He has some interesting political views.
Oh.
He has parked a tank outside of his house. He's a larger-than-life character that I would say, if he were not representing victims, people would not really like this man.
I hate people. That's
I think that
I
he's
can
involved
understand.
in a lot of high-profile lawsuits. I know that he is like suing the NFL right now or something like that. Something to do with sports. He's going up against a huge sports team or something.
I see.
Some people think that he's an ambulance chaser. Some people think, I mean, technically he could file as many lawsuits as he wants with enough due diligence and he can get all the good press he wants. So we don't know, right? He states that people are going to be very shocked at the names that will come out during the course of this investigation. He states the youngest of his clients was 9 years old at the time of the alleged assault. He states that young boy was taken from an audition in New York City with Bad Boy Records. They were allegedly sexually abused by Diddy and several others in the studio on the promise of getting him a record deal. So in regards to the new lawsuits filed, it appears in response to attorney Tony Busby, Diddy's attorneys have called the barrage of lawsuits a, quote, clear attempt to garner publicity. Mr. Combs and his legal team have full confidence in the facts, their legal defense, and the integrity of the judicial process. In court, the truth will prevail. That Mr. Combs has never essayed anyone, adult or minor, man or woman. In response, Diddy's legal team have made some filings of their own. One, to identify the anonymous victims that have filed lawsuits against Diddy. The filing states, requests that the court direct the government to identify its alleged victims so that Mr. Combs can prepare for trial, stating that due to the high-profile nature of the case, quote, this has had a pervasive ripple effect, resulting in a torrent of allegations by unidentified complaints, spanning from false to outright absurd. Counsel for these accusers, alluding to Tony Busby, recently convened a press conference prior to filing at which he claimed to represent 120 accusers making outrageous and deeply prejudicial allegations, including violent essay and abuse of minors. These accusations came on the heels of more than a dozen lawsuits previously filed and currently pending, several of which have already been discredited, but only after irreparably damaging Mr. Combs' character and reputation. These swirling accusations have created a hysterical media circus that, if left unchecked, will irreparably deprive Mr. Combs of a fair trial, and if they haven't already. Side note, Tony Busby does state that they vet all the allegations, like I said. He stated to the New York Times that they have more than 100 screeners and 30 lawyers working on each allegation to vet it. And then I'm sure once they get vetted, Tony Busby and his attorneys that write these lawsuits, that file them, they're vetting once more. Mm-hmm. That's not me defending him or saying it must be true then. I'm just giving you both sides because it seems many netizens are wondering about the validity of so many lawsuits. Side note, a judge presiding over one of the cases where, if you remember from part 2, Jane Doe filed a lawsuit alleging she was gang essayed by Diddy and Harvey Pierre, then president of Bad Boy Records. She was flown on the private jet from Michigan. Yes. The judge granted Diddy's team motion to reveal her identity if she wants to continue pressing charges. The judge states, the court recognizes that public disclosure of Doe's identity could have a significant impact on her, particularly given the graphic and disturbing allegations in this case. They acknowledge that, but the court points to previous cases, stating, indeed, similar motions to proceed anonymously in sexual assault lawsuits involving public figures, including Kevin Spacey and Harvey Weinstein, were likewise denied. For those reasons, and as further detailed, the court denies plaintiff's motion to remain anonymous. I guess we will just have to wait and see if the others face the same situation.
That's sad.
Diddy's attorneys have also asked the judge to impose a gag order of sorts. So this gag order seems more so towards the victims or the alleged victims and their legal representatives. They state, as the court is aware, Mr. Combs has been the target of an unending stream of allegations by prospective witnesses and their counsel in the press. These prospective witnesses and their lawyers have made numerous inflammatory extrajudicial statements aimed at assassinating Mr. Combs' character in the press. They have a whole list of articles as examples, one even being from Cassie's lawsuit, where after Diddy apologizes, if you will, for the hotel video, the hotel assault video being leaked, her attorney responds more or less that when Cassie and other victims came forward, he denied everything and suggested that everyone was looking for a payday. But now look, he's only compelled to apologize once his repeated denials were proven false, shows his pathetic desperation, and no one will be swayed by his disingenuous words. That is what Cassie's attorney said, which they're stating that it's prejudicial for an attorney to say that. Yeah, stating several of these lawyers have made shockingly prejudicial and false allegations of sexual assault and abuse of minors, the details of which need not be repeated. In another part of this filing, it reads, these statements undoubtedly threaten Mr. Combs' right to a fair trial, and no other remedies exist. This court should exercise its discretion in issuing an order requiring all potential witnesses and their counsel to refrain from making extrajudicial statements that have a likelihood to interfere with Mr. Combs' trial. Which a lot of people have a lot to say about Diddy's legal team. They are technically the dream team, if you will. The lineup of lawyers he has is out of this world. He has Mark Angafilo. He actually repped Keith Raniere, the leader of the NXIVM cult. It's called. That was also charged with racketeering and sex trafficking. Keith Raniere was sentenced to 120 years in prison, so there's that. They have Anthony Rico, who most notably represented the secretary for Osama bin Laden, the World Trade Center bomber. Yeah, and then we have Alexandra Shapiro. She's particularly well known in high-profile white-collar criminal cases. She was a clerk for Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, rest in peace. She repped Sam Bankman-Fried, the crypto FTX crypto fraud billionaire.
But all these people are in jail.
Rose Garagos. She's the daughter of another famous attorney, Mark Garagos, who's actually representing the Menendez brothers in their fight to be released. So this is like a dream team. He's also repping the ketamine queen that's involved in Matthew Perry's overdose death case. He's known as like a Hollywood attorney.
Ketamine queen?
He's previously repped Chris Brown in the Rihanna assault case, as well as Michael Jackson in the CA allegations.
So all the big names.
Yes. I mean, truly, the legal dream team. And they're coming in strong to his defense, which some people think is great. Others
that's
are
their
like,
job.
The strategy is very strange.
That's
because
literally
prior
their
to
job.
Diddy's arrest back in December of 2023, Diddy took to Twitter to write, "Enough is enough" For the last couple of weeks, I've sat silently and watched people try to assassinate my character, destroy my reputation and my legacy. Sickening allegations have been made against me by individuals looking for a quick payday. Let me be absolutely clear. I did not do any of the awful things being alleged. I will fight for my name, my family, and my truth. Sean Diddy Combs. So obviously, a lot has changed in the past year. Diddy is now in prison with many more lawsuits headed his way, but it appears that he is adamant to fight this out. And I don't know if it's just him pushing his attorneys or if it's attorneys advising him. Some people think the attorneys are advising him to fight this out in trial because they make a lot more money if he does versus if he were to plead guilty. Some people are saying, why would he plead guilty? when nobody likes him. He's never going to make a comeback. And even if he pleads guilty, likely he'll get nothing less than life in prison.
Wow.
The attorneys have made some very controversial statements, though. They emphasize, yes, Diddy is not a perfect person. He has used drugs in the past. He has been in, quote, toxic relationships. People hate that. People hate that. But they continue. But he's committed to getting therapy and treatment for things that he needs therapy and treatment for. Again, very vague. They argue the evidence in this case is extremely problematic. His attorneys are trying to dispute this trafficking charge by stating that these people are, quote, they're coming into this man's bedroom. Is it trafficking? Not if everybody wants to be there. The attorneys also state that any sort of comparison with Diddy and R. Kelly or Diddy and Epstein doesn't make sense at all. Quote, this is different. These were consenting adults. There's evidence not of trafficking, but of being caught being unfaithful. He was in a 10-year loving relationship through dark periods. Again, alluding to Cassie's relationship with Diddy as a 10-year loving relationship with dark periods. Diddy's attorneys continue, Diddy has referenced the hotel footage as a human story of love, hurt, and heartbreak.
Okay.
Which I have to say, I am human. I have also endured love, hurt, and heartbreak. I have never, not a single time in my life, in this little brain of mine, thought to beat someone up. To repackage domestic violence as love is honestly as unhinged as it humanly gets. They continue to state he came to New York to basically engage the court system and start the case. And it will start today, and he's going to plead not guilty. He's going to fight this with all of his energy and all of his might and all the full confidence of his lawyers. He is dealing with this head on the way he has dealt with every challenge in his life, which is such an interesting moment for a motivational insert.
Right.
One of his attorneys, Anthony Rico, states that Diddy is going to make the best of a difficult situation. Dr. King. Martin Luther King. Dr. King called it the law of unintended consequences. Sometimes the more you push a person down, the stronger they get.
Okay.
Recently, Diddy's attorneys have accused the U.S. government of leaking evidence to the media, including the hotel footage with Cassie. His attorneys state that they demand an evidentiary hearing to investigate, quote, government misconduct in connection with the leaks. They state that the alleged government leaks, quote, have led to damaging, highly prejudicial pretrial publicity that can only taint the jury pool and deprive Mr. Combs of a right to a fair trial. They state the hotel video is the most egregious example of the alleged misconduct by the government, stating one of a long and documented history of leaks and false statements made with one purpose: to savage Mr. Combs' reputation prior to trial. The leaks have resulted in damaging and highly prejudicial media coverage, particularly sensationalizing the investigation and involvement of Mr. Combs' family. Along with that, the attorneys have requested government agencies, including the Department of Homeland Security, the one that raided his homes, to reveal emails, documents, records related to the alleged leaks, place a gag order that bar government personnel from disclosing case evidence or investigative material or even making statements, really, prior to the upcoming trial.
They are so scared.
They're
like, please don't say no more.
Don't let them see anymore.
Yeah.
The prosecutors firmly deny such accusations, and a lot of people who have worked with the feds or have worked as a federal agent prior, they say the feds don't play with stuff like this. Like, the feds are the last people to leak stuff. I mean, maybe you could talk about your local sheriff's office. You could talk about state government. The feds do not play, because when the feds bring a case against someone, they're not jeopardizing anything. They're here to win.
They're by the book,
like, these
sort
feds
of.
do not play. They're not going to do something like leak a video so that the whole trial can get thrown out. They're not dumb.
I see.
is what a lot of people who have worked with the feds say. The prosecutors also firmly deny the accusation. They state the government was not in possession of the video before its publication by CNN. There is thus no factual basis for the defendant's claim that the government leaked the video to CNN, essentially arguing, how can you leak something that you don't have? On top of that, the prosecutors are, this is like a bit of an exaggeration, but they're like coming from the man who's doing a full interview with TMZ, because the defense attorneys are saying the prosecutors keep making statements to the public and it's not making our client look good. It's like interfering with his right to a fair trial. And the prosecutors are like, Mark, didn't you just do a full interview with TMZ? They argue he basically accused the government of running a racist prosecution. Which, okay, Mark stated, I think these are the statements that the prosecutors are alluding to.
The government has done that before.
We are disappointed with the decision to pursue what we believe is an unjust prosecution of Mr. Combs by the U.S. Attorney's Office. Sean Diddy Combs is a music icon, self-made entrepreneur, loving family man, and proven philanthropist who has spent the last 30 years building an empire, adoring his children, and working to uplift the Black community. To his credit, Mr. Combs has been nothing but cooperative with the investigation, and he voluntarily relocated to New York last week in anticipation of these charges. Please reserve your judgment. These are the acts of an innocent man with nothing to hide, and he looks forward to clearing his name in court. He also tries to dispute the trafficking charges. It's a shakedown of a successful Black man, and they state that the federal agents are investigating him for sexual misconduct as, quote, a last vestige because Diddy's businesses are fine and he pays taxes. Yeah. So the prosecutors are like, you accused us of being racist. We didn't leak anything. So
that is a crazy, like,
I mean, I heard that before.
If they didn't leak it, then who did?
Yeah.
And how much like pulls and how many like powers or whatever is being, I don't know. It's really fascinating.
Yeah, there's so much going on. Side note, it seems like there could be a lot of strategies at play for accusing the government of leaking the video. One, it could get thrown out as evidence in the trial. So the jury could potentially not be shown the footage of him beating Cassie. However, I feel like there's going to be lots of other evidence that they will be seeing. Two, the lawyers could argue that this compromised his right to a fair trial and alleged prosecutorial misconduct, which would be a violation of Diddy's rights, which could potentially help it with a change of venue to be outside of New York or other accommodations. Like they could call for an evidentiary hearing, which the judge may grant to the defense to investigate the alleged leak, which could delay the proceedings, but potentially it would reveal more information to the defense attorneys about what the prosecutors are building their case on. Because they get some privy information like emails and communications between the prosecutors. Or in extreme, highly unlikely in this case, it could lead to a dismissal of the charges entirely, which is very highly unlikely in this case. Or it could just be a public play. Accuse the government of leaks, just cast a shadow of doubt on the integrity of the government, on the integrity of the judicial system. Just plant a seed in people's minds. It could be any of those.
Right.
It appears a lot of things are going to come to light during the trial. For example, Howard University had awarded Diddy with an honorary degree in 2014. But with all the new allegations, they have unanimously voted to rescind the degree. So they're like, we take it back. They state Mr. Combs' behavior, as captured in a recently released video, is so fundamentally incompatible with Howard University's core values and beliefs that he is deemed no longer worthy to hold the institution's highest honor.
What university?
Howard.
Which
is actually where he went.
Right.
Yes, and what's so interesting is that Diddy did actually attend Howard, and in a Rolling Stone interview, they found a bunch of his former colleagues and peers, and they said that they could see his controlling and abusive side since way back when they were college kids. He was well known on campus. Before he was known as Diddy, they said that he was just the guy that threw insane college parties. He would drive a convertible around and pass out flyers to his parties. They were iconic. But some women at Howard knew to stay away from him. They would warn each other. One woman said Diddy would caress her back and kept asking her to meet his friends. Another woman essentially states, I didn't even go to his parties, but he tried to cut me in line in the cafeteria. And I said, that's not acceptable behavior. And he just, quote, flew off the handle. But the most alarming was a few interviewed said they were in the same class as Diddy and one of Diddy's girlfriends. And they just remember that he was pretty aggressive and violent with her. That they would see him beat his girlfriend. They alleged that he would beat his girlfriend in college.
Wow.
They remember hearing him screaming outside the dorms in a, quote, belligerent manner. And once the dorm mates were told, Puff is out there crazy, he's just like beating his girlfriend. So if he was acting like that in college, in front of all of his college classmates, people say, I mean, he's a narcissist. He thinks he can explain. He actually wants a trial at this point. Another just writes, given his level of arrogance, he would probably enjoy a trial and watch everyone go down with him. I think he wants to see these victims cross-examined, especially Cassie, because it can be very traumatizing.
It is
But
traumatizing.
you say like the whole thing right now is gonna be private, right? The trial.
The trial it's in federal court. So federal cases, they don't allow in cameras, and they allow in a very select group of press and family and the public. So like you would have to either queue in line. Sometimes you would have to get press badges to get in. Like this one I think is going to be highly regulated. It's not going to be live streamed on, anywhere. Yeah. It's going to be a very, very intense trial. Federal prosecutors are known to be absolutely ruthless. Typically, I mean, take that as you will. And they've made statements that they might not even be done with Diddy on these charges alone. Additionally, there's conversations that there might be further weapons and drug charges tacked on to the long list of accusations and charges that Diddy will be facing in court. Because you remember there were the assault rifles found in his Miami home? They were found with the serial numbers defaced, which you're not supposed to do. It is illegal in most jurisdictions because it makes it really hard to trace the weapon's origin and ownership history, which why would you not want that traced? Also, the fact that the rifles are disassembled, experts say, strongly suggests deliberate attempts to evade detection and law enforcement, which could be viewed as evidence of criminal intent. It seems like Diddy's attorneys suggested that it belonged to Diddy's security detail, but the prosecutors hit back. I don't dispute that Mr. Combs has used armed security, but it is incredulous that armed security in a professional security company would have defaced AR-15s and store them in pieces in the defendant's personal closet. That is just absurd.
Okay, they
It's
got a
also
point.
said the defendant, Diddy, tested positive for ecstasy and or other drugs. The prosecutors state they may file and bring a superseding indictment, meaning more potential charges, once all the data from the seized devices are extracted, which has been reported, like I said, 100 devices with 90 terabytes of data on there. 90 terabytes is a lot of data. Now, just to be clear, there could be years and years of music. There could be all of the security footage from his home that just was never reset or replaced or deleted. There's no indication that 90 terabytes of data is all nefarious, but just to give you an idea of how much is on there.
That's a lot.
That's about 18,000 movies. 22 and a half full-length movies, or about 45 hours of video content, or 18 million songs.
Like I have
It's a lot of
14
data.
terabytes on my
A lot to
computer.
sort through too.
Yeah. The DA's office have stated in regards to Diddy's case.
Now, I want to be clear about two things. First, this office is determined to investigate and prosecute anyone who engages in sex trafficking, no matter how powerful or wealthy or famous you may be. No one should doubt our commitment on that. A year ago, Sean Combs stood in Times Square and was handed a key to New York City.
Woo!
Today, he's been indicted and will face justice in the Southern District of New York. Second, we are not done. This investigation is ongoing, and I encourage anyone with information about this case to come forward and to do it quickly.
And I would not doubt them. This is the Southern District of New York. They are widely regarded as one of the most aggressive federal prosecutors' offices in the entire nation. All the attorneys in that office are typically highly respected in the legal community. I don't know about loved, but highly respected, highly feared. They're known to be winners. They don't come to play. Yeah. One of the most intelligent people I know is a polyglot, aka she knows multiple languages fluently. She even dreams in each language whenever she travels to that specific country. It's like a super cool secret superpower or a cool party trick, and you would never guess just by looking at her, which is all the more impressive. I grew up learning Korean, but I am nowhere near close to being fully bilingual, nor can I sit down and read a book in full Korean either, unless it's like a children's book. But my family friend who's a polyglot She reads, writes, and can even tell the difference between accents in each language she speaks. She grew up speaking English and French, and now she's completely fluent in those plus Chinese,
English
Spanish,
and French.
and she knows a little bit of Arabic for religious reasons. So with Rosetta Stone, you can become bilingual, trilingual, or even 25 lingual because Rosetta Stone offers 25 different language learning programs. Rosetta Stone is the most trusted language learning program available on desktop or an app in case you're actively traveling around that country. The app is the way to go, and it truly immerses you in that language that you want to learn. If you're looking to brush up on a childhood language like me with Korean, or starting from scratch like I am with Chinese, or looking to advance your vocabulary and more, Rosetta Stone is the most affordable, best option for long-term retention and fast language acquisition. One of the only ways my family friend is able to stay fluent in all 4 languages is because she has the ability to travel to each country for work. However, that's definitely not the majority of us, and take it from her, Rosetta Stone is the best alternative option. The programs immerse you in so many ways, and even if you can't travel or converse with native speakers in person, Rosetta Stone has built-in true accent feature that gives you feedback on your pronunciation, like a personal trainer for your specific accent. And remember how I said that with Rosetta Stone you can be bilingual, trilingual, even 25 lingual? Well, now with Rosetta Stone's lifetime membership, you get access to all 25 language courses for the rest of your life. Spanish, French, Italian, German, Korean, Chinese, Dutch, Arabic, Polish, and so on. Don't put off learning that language. There is no better time than right now to get started. Rotten Mango listeners can get Rosetta Stone's lifetime membership for 50% off. Visit rosettastone.com/rotten. That's 50% off unlimited access to 25 language courses for the rest of your life. Redeem your 50% off at rosettastone.com/rotten today. It's almost the holiday season, and one of the most fulfilling gifts we've ever given was with the help of Shopify. A couple years back, my husband, my sister-in-law, and I were have got you covered. Their award-winning help is here to support your success every step of the way because businesses that grow with Shopify. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/rotten, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/rotten now to grow your business no matter what stage you're in. Shopify.com/rotten. There are a lot of conspiracies surrounding the Diddy case, though. The 4 main ones, well, I want to say like the 3 main ones circulating being Diddy has been cloned. There are tunnels under Diddy's LA mansion that lead to the Playboy
The cloning
mansion.
thing is always funny.
And 3, that Diddy openly blackmailed the people on the so-called Diddy list by reading out their names on Instagram. So let's break down each of the conspiracies really quick. 1, the clone conspiracy. This is similar to the conspiracy theory that Epstein was replaced in prison and the real Epstein is not dead. He's somewhere out there. People on social media have been analyzing Diddy's face pre-arrest. The main point of contention being he has this mole on his cheek, and they are comparing those photos to a supposed mugshot and noticing that his facial features are different. Mainly in this supposed mugshot, his mole is gone. The mole is gone, and they're like, how does the mole disappear, right? Now, the problem here is the mugshot that's been circulating is not Diddy's actual mugshot. There were some issues. The first mugshot circulating of him was a real mugshot, but it was from the 90s. So obviously he's going to look a little bit different. He's going to look definitely more aged now. That was when he was previously arrested. The second mugshot of him circulating is not his mugshot. His mugshot from his 2024 arrest has yet to be released.
Oh,
are you saying it's an AI photo?
I don't know if it's AI. I don't know if it's photoshopped.
Oh.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Yeah, that is not... I'm sure you already know exactly what mugshot I'm talking about.
Yeah, I've seen it. But that's not a real photo. Wow.
No, yeah, which generally mugshots are public record. So this is where people are like, it has to be his mugshot because why isn't his mugshot out there? Authorities in certain jurisdictions are becoming a bit more cautious about releasing mugshots due to the privacy concern about potential reputational harm prior to a trial. So to make the conspiracy even deeper, Diddy's private jet has been reported to be operating and flying around the world, making various stops in places like New Zealand. So you have a group of people who believe this is his mugshot and they think he looks nothing like the mugshot, so it must be a clone or a lookalike. And then another group of people who understand that's likely not his mugshot, but it's weird. Why did they not release his mugshot? They quote, in all seriousness, where is his mugshot? If not a mugshot, a video of the bail hearing? Anything showing that he's actually in jail? The hotel arrest video is not enough for me. I want to see some evidence. Which, side note, like I said, there's no cameras in the court hearings or trial hearings or anything in federal court. So the fact that there's no footage of him is par for the course, but people think it's weird. And as for the private jet, I will say, it is not unusual for wealthy individuals to charter their jets when they're not using it, especially in Diddy's case, where he might even be looking to sell the aircraft, according to his attorneys. He's in jail. He's not using it. His daughter's passports were given to his attorneys. I'm not sure if his sons are flying around or if it's family friends, unclear, or if it's being chartered or if it's being flown around to be propositioned for a sale. So again, it's not the most alarming. The second theory, though, the conspiracy, is that there are tunnels under Diddy's mansion that lead to the Playboy Mansion. Following the raids of Diddy's homes, there were these social media posts, screenshots of a supposed CNN broadcast that suggested authorities had found underground tunnels inside of Diddy's house, which everyone thought was weird, strange. And then later, he's indicted for trafficking. Everyone is wondering, what are those supposed tunnels being used for then? Sex trafficking tunnels? I mean, that makes sense, but those tunnels have to lead somewhere. And where would they be leading to that would make sense? Interestingly enough, the Playboy Mansion, which there are trafficking theories around the Playboy Mansion and the Playboy magazine and all of that, is only a few houses down. It's not on the same street, but it's a few houses down, they say. These are the rumors and conversations circulating. And for years, there have actually been rumors that there are Playboy hidden tunnels under the Playboy Mansion.
Mm-hmm.
And now Diddy's house allegedly has tunnels?
Mm-hmm.
According to a Playboy magazine article, it's since been deleted, but one of the Playboy editors had been pulling photos for a project they were working on when they found what looked like these archived Polaroids of what looks like someone taking pictures behind the Playboy Mansion, but all the dirt is dug up. It looks like an excavation is taking place.
That's for a pool?
Some sort of large-scale project is being done on the mansion. They ask their managers about the Polaroids they found. Why are they digging so much? What's going on? He just tells them nonchalantly, oh, it's probably from when they built the tunnels in the 70s.
What?
The editor starts looking for more things. What tunnels? Like, what do you mean tunnels? I haven't seen tunnels. Sure enough, they claim that they found blueprints of tunnels that connect the Playboy Mansion to other wealthy homes in the area, in the very wealthy billionaires row of Los Angeles. But how come the editors didn't know about the tunnels? One colleague tells him, oh yeah, I heard they were closed up sometime in the 80s. So like maybe 10 years after they were built.
Wow.
Now the whole tunnel thing has been shut down by Playboy.com and Hugh Hefner himself, which take that as you will. The article they posted was published on April 1st. Does that mean it's an April Fool's prank, or are they just in hindsight saying, never mind, that was an April Fool's joke? That's up for debate. But how does this connect to Diddy? It's said that the houses, like I said, are a few houses down, and maybe the tunnels are connected. But it seems like largely there are not hidden tunnels under the Playboy Mansion. And in addition, that CNN screenshot that was circulating that showed authorities discovering underground tunnels in Diddy's mansion, they're not real. It's a fake screenshot.
I mean, it doesn't look real, to be fair.
So no evidence. It's just rumors right now.
Yeah, it's been largely debunked. I don't want to say it's not true because what do I know? I've never been down there to investigate, but it just doesn't seem... It doesn't seem like it exists. The only place it seems that there is a statement of some sort of tunnel in Diddy's home is on his real estate listing for his now on the market mansion, stating that it has a, quote, lagoon-style swimming pool with a grotto connected by an underwater swimming tunnel. And these are, like, small, typically. And they're fun pools.
I see.
So as for right now, it seems like this conspiracy is not verified and or true and is likely false. Now, third, the conspiracy is Diddy was blackmailing people, A-list celebrities, out in the open from his Diddy's list. There is this odd video, perhaps he's threatening them. He's sitting in front of the massive metal Kim Porter bust of his LA mansion with this young boy in his lap, and he starts listing names from a paper, and the little boy starts yelling those names out. Drake. Jennifer Lopez, A-Rod, Will Smith, Alicia Keys, Justin Bieber, Kevin Hart, Mark Wahlberg, Snoop, DJ Khaled, Chris Brown, Naomi Campbell, Jessica Alba, Usher, Demi Lovato, Diplo, Cara Delevingne. The conspiracy being, these are all people on the Diddy's list that he is now blackmailing out in the open. He's telling them, hey, stay in line.
Bruh.
But it has been debunked. This is the list of all the people that were going to be part of his online dance-a-thon during COVID to raise money for charity, which did in fact happen.
Online what?
Dance-a-thon.
What's that?
They dance on live stream for charity.
Oh.
And they all got on camera and danced on live stream with Diddy. So they were like live
Even Justin
streaming with
Bieber.
him, so they didn't go to his house or anything.
Yo, those are all Kelly Rowland.
Regardless, people are heavily spreading and side-eyeing this video and the list of names. Now, I do want to mention before we head into the so-called Diddy's list, even the term Diddy's list has been penned by social media users. There is no official list, at least none that we know of and that authorities have released. Some people have taken to creating their own versions of lists on social media.
I know, I saw.
And some of them just about include everyone in Hollywood that has ever been to any single party or function that Diddy was at, which is quite a lot of functions. I think Diddy was an unavoidable connection in the industry.
Exactly.
People wanted to be around him. They wanted to party with him.
Like,
but if
use
he
your
was a
logic,
serial
people.
abuser, like the claims allege, it's still very unlikely that all of Hollywood knew about it. I think that a lot of people probably did. To what degree?
Or like
I don't know.
heard
I mean,
rumors.
I think to the degree that he was violent with women, maybe more likely than the freak-offs or these alleged other incidents. But it doesn't seem like he was abusing everyone he could get his hands on and trying to victimize every celebrity or rope them into things, or that everybody that was friends with Diddy knew what he was allegedly doing. This is not a defense of Hollywood, by the way. I think Hollywood has so many problems, right? But I just don't think every single person in Hollywood knew, was complicit, and participated. The authorities have not stated that they are looking into anyone else. None of these people, at least to our knowledge, have been questioned, investigated, or charged. I think we're heading into somewhat dangerous territory where we're just running with rumors without significant evidence, and it could be detrimental to many people's lives. So I'm going to run down the list of names that have popped up in most of the research in association with Diddy and the Diddy's list, and explain to you why some netizens believe that they are either perpetrators alongside Diddy or are victims of Diddy. But again, none of these people have been investigated, charged, or convicted of anything related to Diddy. Even Diddy himself is innocent till proven guilty for the current charges that he faces. So this is just me recapping online discourse that you can find online. I'm not taking one side or the other. I'm just trying to present all the sides. The first being on the list, Ashton Kutcher. There are a few pieces of media and backstory on why people think Ashton Kutcher is connected to Diddy. He was pictured at many of Diddy's white parties, going as far to host one with Diddy. He has a long-standing friendship with Diddy. I will say Ashton Kutcher, the pieces of media that are being dug up and found and reposted, it's definitely weird. Yeah. I mean, that's all I can say. It's weird. At the 2003 MTV Movie Awards, Ashton and Diddy are presenting the award for the best villain. Davy Chase, who played the little girl in the Ring movie, she was 13 years old, I believe, at the time of this award. She wins the award, comes onto stage where Ashton Kutcher hugs her, Diddy's kissing her cheek, which a lot of netizens don't like how they constantly feel the need to physically be in contact with this little girl that is not like a family member. It's just kind of weird. People are stating, right? But you get to make your own decision on that. Later, though, this is the weird part. Backstage, Diddy asks this little girl if she's coming to the after party. But the way that netizens believe that he is looking at her is very bizarre. So he's not even trying to play into the, oh, you're 13 in Hollywood. It's not like, are you going to come to the after party? Parents need to come with you. It's not even like that. It's like he's sipping his drink and peering over his sunglasses at her. People thought it was very predatory looking. She just nods her head, and he says, yeah, about her coming to the after party.
Coming to the after party tonight? Yes!
Which right now there is a lawsuit against Diddy that he allegedly essayed a 13-year-old girl at an awards after party, which, just to clarify, this is not Jane Doe in the lawsuit. The timeline and ages don't match, so I'm not even insinuating that. But netizens believe this clip now feels very sinister given the new lawsuit. In 2008, the two of them, Ashton Kutcher and Diddy, were on the Late Late Show with James Corden, where Ashton said,
by the way, if you're a single man, like there's probably no greater human being in the world. This is 20 years.
If you're a single man, there's no greater person
in the world than Diddy to hang out with. Yeah.
Whoa.
In a Hot Ones interview in 2019, he's asked about Diddy's party stories by the amazing host, to which he responds, yeah, wow, okay, I've got a lot I can't tell. This is Ashton Kutcher. He looks like he starts thinking about them, what happened at the parties, and he says, I'm like cycling through them right now. We became fast friends, we used to hang out, watch football together. It's just kind of an odd clip. Then there are the allegations swirling that Ashton and Mila Kunis were breaking up, divorcing recently. To which one alleged source states, Ashton has no involvement in any of this. He doesn't even belong in this conversation with Diddy, because people are saying, if they're going to break up, why would they be breaking up right now? They have children together. Is it because Diddy was arrested? Is it because of all this Diddy stuff that's going on? So does that mean he's involved with Diddy? Because why else would she break up with him? So the source says
There's no other
Ashton has
reason
only
to
seen
break up
Diddy
with
in a
someone.
handful of social and business events, all of which have been documented by the media. But some netizens disagree. Some netizens even link Brittany Murphy's death to Kim Porter and Diddy.
What?
So if you recall in part 2, Diddy's longtime girlfriend and mother to his 4 children, Kim Porter, died of pneumonia. Many netizens and even some family members have been hinting that they should have a second investigation into Kim Porter's death. But netizens also pointed out that pneumonia is not the most fatal condition. I'm not saying it's not fatal, but netizens are saying as long as you have access to high quality healthcare, you don't have a compromised immune system, and you are otherwise young and healthy, which by all accounts it seems Kim Porter was, the way she passed was just weird to netizens. Side note, Brittany Murphy is Ashton Kutcher's ex-girlfriend. They were dating a while. Ashton was publicly seen often with Diddy and with Brittany Murphy. So they all clearly had some sort of working relationship or friendship, it seems. Brittany Murphy passed away from pneumonia as well after she and Ashton break up. She's remarried at this point. Interestingly enough, her husband passes away from pneumonia a few months later. There's a lot more to their deaths. Her husband was allegedly friends with a personal trainer that was friends with Diddy. There's some other connections there.
That's starting to be a little bit like
The part that
convoluted.
people are focusing on right now is Brittany Murphy was connected to Ashton Kutcher, Kim Porter was connected to Diddy, and both women died suspiciously, in some people's opinions, at a relatively young age from pneumonia. And the coroner who did their reports after their deaths are the same person. To be fair, they were both in LA County, so it makes sense. But some people think it's very strange. The theory goes a step further. Netizens have stated that if you look up baby oil, and if it's harmful to you by ingestion, it's usually minimally toxic. So it's minimally toxic if you ingest baby oil. But if you accidentally breathe baby oil, you could get serious complications called aspiration pneumonia. I don't know if this is a solid link. I will say the theory goes really, really deep. There's a lot more that netizens have been pointing out, but I think that would warrant a whole new episode into Brittany Murphy's death and the death of her husband, because there's just a lot. I will say Ashton Kutcher being on this so-called social media penned Diddy's list is less of, because some of the other celebrities, it's like they posted pictures together.
Yeah.
They said we're besties, right? And it's kind of like, okay, well, we don't really know. Ashton Kutcher, I will say, does have a shady history. He has made very bizarre comments about waiting for young celebrities to turn 18. He said Hilary Duff is in the Lizzie McGuire movie.
And she's one of the girls that we're all waiting for to turn 18.
Oh my God.
She was 15 years old when he said that. Then him and his now wife Mila Kunis did an interview where they talked about their time on the 70s show, where Ashton was 19 at the time, had a $10 bet with another co-star to go and make out with Mila Kunis. He's 19, she was 14. Yeah. Mila says about the incident, "You made a bet with Danny about my first kiss. I had never kissed a guy. I was a 14-year-old girl. I was scared for my life." Which, side note, Danny that they're referring to is a man named Danny Masterson.
Yeah.
He was an actor that was accused and convicted of raping 2 women in his Hollywood Hills home. He was sentenced to 30 years to life in prison. It's stated that he drugged and violently essayed his victims. Which, the part that's alarming is Ashton and Mila Kunis wrote character letters supporting him prior to the sentencing.
And they had to
They wrote to
apologize.
the judge. They stated that Ashton viewed Danny as a role model and knows him as a, quote, an extraordinarily honest and intentional human being. Which, yeah, SA is pretty intentional, so. He states that he trusts Danny with his own children. Mila
Which is
Kunis described
insane.
Danny Masterson as having, quote, exceptional character and, quote, innate goodness. Which, what? The worst part of all of this is that Ashton ran Thorn, an anti-child abuse organization that he co-founded with his ex-wife Demi Moore. He has since stepped down, but people are even side-eyeing this formation of the organization, wondering if he's overcompensating for something. Allegedly, again, not alleging that he did anything, just stating it's weird. Like, how can you have this organization and have so many shady friends?
Right?
Speaking of Demi Moore, his ex-wife, she also wrote in her book that Ashton cheated on her multiple times. She was insecure about being older than him, and she describes in her book that she was pressured into having threesomes with Ashton, and that was ultimately one of the reasons why their relationship and marriage fell apart. And if people are following with the Diddy case. There's a lot of group activities that are being alleged. So that's just another somewhat of an association connection that people are drawing together. Whether it's by fact or not, I can't tell you.
Damn.
He's also had some other small controversies, like a football coach was fired for allegedly essaying a minor. Ashton tweeted, "How do you fire Joe Pa? #insult, #no class. As a Hawkeye fan, I find it in poor taste," which he later claims he didn't know the reason of the coach's termination, and he fully recants the tweet. But people just think it's a lot of similarly related controversies that he's been embroiled in. And same arena as some of the controversies and allegations against Diddy. After Diddy's arrest and netizens linking them to Diddy, there are brief rumors that Ashton and Mila are on the brink of splitting up, but like I said, it was shut down as absolutely false and ridiculous by a close source to the couple. But there are rumors now going around that Ashton and Mila are, quote, done with Hollywood and have considered moving to Europe. It's claimed that they took the kids to Europe over the summer and they felt it was so much more normal than Hollywood. A source told In Touch, Ashton's so exasperated that once again he is being dragged through the mud because of his past associations. First it was Danny Masterson and now it's Diddy, and it's got him convinced that there's way better places out there to live than Hollywood. In his view, this town is just a cesspool at this point.
I mean, at the end of the day, he's rich.
Note, this move is not
He can do whatever
confirmed,
the
and
fuck
I
he
do want
want.
to clarify, it does not appear like they're running or hiding from authorities. There's no open investigation into them. The feds don't seem interested in them at all, at least as of right now. It just seems like they're, quote, over Hollywood. However, netizens are having a field day with that statement, writing, "They make it sound like Hollywood set them up. They chose to write letters defending and supporting a rapist." One comment reads, "Had it with Hollywood?" More like, "Had it with the consequences of Hollywood. Babes, you are the problem that you speak of. You brought every ounce of this on your own heads." Kutcher's monstrous friends tell you all you need to know about him as a person. He seems so involved in these circles. Another comment just reads, "Dude is consistent." Another reads, "Danny Masterson and now Sean Combs. Ashton definitely knows something. That's why he's moving to Europe. His work with an organization to combat child trafficking seems incredibly suspect as well now." Again, this is a random internet comment, but it shows you some of the sentiments out there. Another one also reads, "Isn't he supposed to be fighting trafficking? I'm not gonna lie, it makes my skin crawl thinking of how perfect of a cover that is." Some netizens wish to remain neutral till more information comes out, and they comment, "You'll find pics and videos of Diddy with practically anyone. He was the embodiment of the celebrity party for decades. I don't think everyone deserves to be guilty by association, but I think a lot of people's skeletons will be let out of the closet now." Then you have Leonardo DiCaprio. The main piece of information circulating online putting Leo into the Diddy's list, the so-called Diddy's list, is a 73 questions interview Diddy did with Vogue, where he's asked, "Top guest at white parties?"
Leonardo DiCaprio.
And with Leonardo DiCaprio's penchant for only dating young women, some social media netizens did not
forgot about
appear
that.
surprised by the association.
I forgot about
so
that.
Just a reminder, there are a lot of pictures of lots of celebrities at white parties, including Leonardo DiCaprio, but it does not mean that they knew something that we didn't know.
Exactly.
Then there are rumors that Leonardo DiCaprio was fleeing the country since Diddy's news emerged, but that has turned out to be false. One source close to Leo states, "Leonardo DiCaprio has nothing to do with any of this. He attended a few of his parties back in the early 2000s, but literally everybody did. They were not freak-offs, they were big house parties. Leo was at the start of his career at the time and has moved way past his partying days. He has nothing to do with any of that world. So for anyone to assume that he will get roped into this based on a few grainy photos that are more than 20 years old is ridiculous." To which many netizens agree. Though some are still not fans of his dating tendencies. They write, "I'm all for tracking down criminals, but getting a photo taken at a party in broad daylight is hardly evidence of wrongdoing." Some are still skeptical of Leo, stating, "Says he hasn't seen Diddy in 20 years, but there's a photo of him at Diddy's party in 2019. Which was his 50th massive birthday party, which like all of Hollywood was invited to be fair. It appears Leonardo DiCaprio's connection to Diddy is at least public-facing, much thinner. Feels like a few photos, and then people are like, well, he also dates a lot of young girls.
But he
I think
does
it's
date
more
the
so
lin-
people's
the-
sentiment about Leonardo DiCaprio.
Right.
Right. I could see the connection is how netizens feel. But I couldn't find a lot of concrete, pieces of media connecting them. Then there's Kevin Hart. There are videos of Kevin Hart hosting parties for Diddy. One viral clip, there's a girl in a bathtub and she's clothed, like she has a bikini, and in the bathtub her hair catches on fire on one of the nearby candles, which I think people were upset about, because regardless of Kevin Hart's supposed friendship with Diddy, they write, notice how a woman's hair is literally on fire, and instead of helping her, Kevin Hart moves away and asks if the camera caught that. What a moment to show blatant disregard for the lives and safety of individuals there.
Wait. This is, what kind of context is the video?
Oh, he's just like, oh my God, we're at this crazy party at this house. And then her hair catches on fire on one of the candles, and he gets up and everyone just like runs away from her, does not help her. And he asks the camera if you caught that, her hair catching on fire. So this is
crazy.
This was brought up because of the association between Kevin Hart and Diddy. But then now the further conversation, the deeper conversation netizens are having is, look at the blatant disregard for a woman's safety. On top of the association with Diddy, a lot of netizens don't like it. They're not accusing him. They just don't like it. And we cannot
Understandable.
like stuff. In another clip of a party, Diddy is
Usher is a
standing there
victim.
with Usher and Kevin Hart. This clip
In
has
my
gone
head.
viral. Diddy has his arm around Usher and talks about, quote, back in the day when he was like 10 and I was a little bit older, when Usher was like 10 and I was a little bit older, I was his older brother. We used to fight over the Frosted Flakes. We used to actually wrestle for the Frosted Flakes.
Yo, what the f did Puff just say? Nobody's gonna acknowledge this with me, and we're streaming live. That was stupid.
Diddy is talking about this.
Yeah, and Kevin Hart is seen laughing and runs up to the camera and says, what the f did Puff just say? Which this clip has gone viral for anything Diddy has said that is weird. What the f did Puff just say? That was stupid. What the f did he just say? Kevin Hart was tracked by paparazzi after the allegations have started coming to light against Diddy. He was asked if he saw baby oil at Diddy's parties when he hosted them, and he responds to the paparazzi, when I hosted for Diddy, you asking the wrong person the wrong question, man. That's not a good question. They continue to ask, do you think he's safe in jail? He responds again, wrong person, wrong question. One comment reads, first time Kevin hasn't actually said anything. Usually he's so talkative. Another comment reads, why the f would he be talkative now though? Like,
exactly.
use your brain. What the f do you want him to say? Y'all are weird.
Exactly. Like, what
So
the fuck
some are
is he
defending
supposed
him,
to
some
say?
think it's weird. Then there's Paris Hilton. She was spotted at many a Diddy parties.
I mean,
with
yeah,
the
she's a
lawsuits
socialite.
alleging that Marriott was named in one of the lawsuits. There are some people drawing this connection between Paris Hilton, the Hilton hotels, to Diddy and trafficking, because of course hotels are always at the center of trafficking claims. To be fair with this association, I do think Paris Hilton, I don't know about the Hilton hotel business. I don't know what they have been accused of wrongdoing in the past or not. To be fair, I think Paris Hilton was at all the parties back then. I think it would be harder to find an A-list star-studded party in which she
Literally.
was not in attendance. Many netizens' comments read, not everyone who attended his parties attended his freak-offs. Another reads, I think there's levels to this. There are people who knew about everything going on at these parties, and there are people that would just show up to the parties. It was probably just a wild party back then. And so in these interviews, when you see people being like, oh, Diddy throws the wildest parties, they're probably not referring to freak-offs.
Yeah.
They're probably just saying, oh, there was like synchronized swimmers.
I feel like I've heard about Diddy's party my whole fucking life. Like, every year he throws big party and they end up on like magazines and shit, and everybody would want to be there. Like, I would back when I was obsessed with celebrities, I would like look at the names of, oh my god, who was there? It looks so cool. Oh, in hindsight, obviously I was wrong, but still. Anyway, yeah. That was I'm not done. I did say I would make it this Get Ready With Me makeup video a 2-part. Woo! What a story. I'm just glad that at least in this episode, I mean, what the fuck? I mean, yeah, the sexual assault thing were less graphically explained or described, which is good for my mental health, honestly, because sometimes I'm like, oh my god, I don't want to hear that. So at least so far, because I'm not done with the video, so far my mental health seems to be pretty steady. But yeah, did he do it? Did he not do it? He probably did, and I mean, karma is a bitch. I'm still not over the fact that he fucking tattooed an Asian Loa on his fucking back, man. That's crazy. Anyway, as usual, I'm going to take my little break and I'm going to come back very soon for gaming time. So